our first one, so this is probably going to be a complete fucking shit
this is going to
show.
be an absolute abortion. I hope you're ready for that.
But,
Hey, I took 3 edibles. I think we're going to be in there.
Yes! Right! Welcome to the party, my friend.
All medicinal.
This motherfucker brings hats, leaves his edibles in the car. Bullshit.
alright, so pretty much this is a brainchild of me and Lizer's.
Fuck.
Every time we get together, we have really funny conversations. I'm
Yeah.
like, we should really fucking, there I go with the fucking again. Edit that out.
We should document
We
this.
should document this.
Do we have a cuss jar? Because
No.
I only
No.
got like $100.
Yeah, and we're gonna blow that shit out of the water, yeah.
All right, good. Go.
So anyway, so we're calling it Race World True Life. So everybody talks super technical on their little podcast shows, or they talk about all the successes and all that. Oh, it's really sweet. We actually want to talk about the other side of it. Not all the good, the bad, the ugly, but everything. You know.
Sure.
So we want to bring on people in the industry, other racers, people that like try to really explain what it takes to actually win. Not just you just show up, pay some money, and all of a sudden you're the man,
Yeah.
Right?
right? And I know you've been doing it for 20
We've been in business 20 years.
years.
I've been in this racket 37
this
years.
racket.
37.
37. I started at a very young age.
I was negative 5 years old then.
How old are you? Him? Me. 53. I'm 53. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, young 53.
Oh, yeah. Look at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your prime.
Yeah. I'm balding. I got gray hair. I'm 22.
Your ass is 22. There's
37.
This business is not hard on anyone.
no.
Look
No.
at us.
Yeah.
So that's the purpose of this. So we're gonna give it a go.
Sure.
Yeah. And I figured it'd be easier to start out with somebody that we already know pretty well and can talk to and easy to carry a conversation with.
All right, I'm out.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. All right.
See you later, brother.
Who wants to go to the bar? All right.
Yeah.
So what got you into being in the torque converters, transmissions, being that guy? I'm sure it was an accident, right? You didn't purposely do this.
Well, we were in trade school in high school. I took vocation.
Okay.
Positively knew college was not an option.
Right.
So I got into something, that interested me.
So
my dad was in the trucking business, so we had trucks. So we were at a young age, we were hands-on working on stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I went into trade school, vocation, and that was called diesel mechanics,
Mm-hmm.
but it was moving away from diesel into automotive at that time.
Okay.
So that was the beginning, and then our senior year we got placed, and I happened to get placed in a shop that did transmissions, and everything we done was for export. We built 350s and 400s, GM 350s, 400s. That's all we built. They got put in a shipping container and sent to the Middle East.
For what?
Well, the overdrive transmissions that were in the cars were junk. We knew that going in.
They still are junk, by the way.
They still are.
They still are junk, by the way.
And the 400's still a great unit. And so what they would do is they would peel the 204s and 700s out and put 400s and 350s in.
Okay.
And that's what spawned that business. And
So
it
a
was
bunch of our fucking cores went to the Middle East.
thousands and thousands. Yeah, unbelievable amount.
Yeah.
And so at what point did you decide to go from transmissions to converters?
About 3 years in, necessity, the mother of invention.
Yeah.
They needed converters, and no company could supply the demand that we had at the time.
Yeah.
So back then, we just were doing 3-speed transmissions. That's the easiest converter to do.
Right.
And plentiful machinery was, not a lot of technical stuff. And basically, we started doing converters.
So you went out to this place right out of high school.
Yep.
Rebuilt transmissions.
Yep.
Became a trans tech pretty much. And then you were doing converters for that company?
Yes.
Okay, so that's where you learned about torque converters.
Yep.
There. And how long were you with that company?
17 years.
17 years. Okay.
And they closed in '01, the end of '01.
Okay.
And when they were closing, I was in the process of figuring it out.
Yeah.
I had two babies at home, a wife, and basically they took a viable business and closed it because they figured out they could do it cheaper
Yeah.
and screw a bunch of people in the meantime by peeling everything out of here and taking it to the Middle East and doing it with cheap labor.
Okay.
So when that all started, you know, I'm kind of scrambling.
Yeah.
And a guy I didn't even know comes up and he came to our shop where they were selling a bunch of stuff. And he said, "Hey man, what are you going to do?" I said, "I don't know. I can build transmissions. I can build converters. I can build a transmission at home in my garage. I need a building full of equipment to do converters."
Yeah.
He said, "Let's do converters. There's a transmission shop on every corner. Let's do something nobody else is doing."
Yeah.
I said, "I'm gonna need a pile of money." He said, "I got the money. I don't know how to do it." So me and Rick Sigmund and this other guy, Guido was his name, and he owned a transmission shop in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And we all came together, and that was the beginning. After we didn't need Guido for the technical side, we just needed his money.
Right.
Yeah.
And we got to the point where we were standing on our own, and I went to him, I said, "Hey, let's make a deal and get you out of here."
Yeah.
So we bought him out, and the rest is history, man.
When did you, like, how long was that? How long did it take you to actually stand on your own?
4 years,
4 years?
and that was not taking money. I mean, we were taking
Yeah.
enough to get by.
Right.
Rick and I, both of our wives worked. They carried our health insurance. They carried the lion's share of our bills at home,
Right.
Yeah.
and we put everything we had into the business.
Right.
When I say standing on my own, I meant we could afford to buy toilet paper and you know, at lunch.
Pay-
We-
pay-
we-
Yeah, you're not making money.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. And
I don't think we ever really make money, do we?
well, we traded.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
turns, but yeah. So that was, and that was probably the best and worst time to do anything in our lives. We, again, had young families,
Yeah.
but had we stayed with that guy any longer, the amount that it cost to get out would have been more and more.
Right.
Because as the company got stronger, obviously his value was going up
Yep.
as well.
Now, was it a positive or negative, like, split off?
It was positive. It was very expensive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he had a vision of what that company was, and it was a vision from the outside looking in. You guys know how that works.
Mm-hmm.
The guy looking in thinks, "Look at all the money these guys are making."
Yeah.
When we're the guys on the inside saying,
It's not like
"It's not like that, but okay, I'm not arguing it. You know,
Yeah.
let's just get this done." So that's how that worked. And then the performance side of things really was a push from another guy,
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike Harris.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did my transmissions.
Old Chrysler guy.
Mr. 904, man.
Yeah, and he came in our shop one day. We didn't know him, you know, didn't know of him or anything. And he said, "Hey, guy told me you guys cut torque converters here." I said, "Yeah, we built them, you know." He said, "I got one I'd like you to look at." So we cut it. It was out of the old poison dart, man. And it was scrap. He said, "Can you build me one?" Yeah. And that was that. And then back then, nothing like today with the parts we can buy, you know,
Yeah.
the high-end stuff.
When you say back, like, this is 2005,
Yep.
4, 3.
Yeah, so this was probably 04-ish
Okay.
that started.
The performance
Okay.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Mike said, "Let me sell these things, man. I can sell them. I build transmissions. I can, you know, I need a good converter."
Yeah.
And one thing just led to another, and before you know it, more and more. And it took years. You know how.
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys know. So here we are now, fast forward to now, and it's like a wildfire.
Yeah.
It is. I feel like it's like a network you build up, you know.
It takes a long time to build it, and
Because I remember, like, we've been around 15 years, but obviously, same thing, real small. I mean, Victory Racing, if you guys are just tuning in, James plug. Like, I remember hearing, just go to Bubba.
Right.
Bubba gives you a converter. I'm like, I don't know who Bubba is.
Right.
Can I get a turbo action? Can I get a, whatever, PTC or whatever,
Yeah.
you know? and more, go to Bubba, and we finally crossed paths.
Yeah.
Probably, really, 5 years ago, I would
Yeah.
say.
I think Sean,
Yeah.
Cadillac Sean
Yeah.
probably is the one that pushed us all together.
Honestly, I think he may have been one of the people that kind of put me into your lap too.
Yeah.
Because, like, I was back when I was building my Fox body with the C4 in it still.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know who can make a converter for a C4. Nobody's running a C4.
Right.
And I talked to you, and
No one's that dense in the head.
no.
Right.
Here I was blowing them up left and right.
It took
Except
us
for maybe Billy. I think Billy out there just buzzed in here for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
I think he ran C4s for a while. He probably still does that dumb fuck. Did you run C4 still?
No,
Oh,
we,
yeah.
we finally got him into a power glide too.
Yeah,
So
about damn time.
it takes a minute.
It could be a glut for punishment. It took me knocking my thrust stop like 3 or 4 times to get away from a 904.
right? Yeah, everybody says, and they still do say the go to Bubba thing,
Yeah.
which it's cool. I mean, it's Bubba's the guy, Bubba's this, but
Yeah.
the reality of that comment is, I'm only as good as the whole deal.
Yeah,
No,
that's
you
for
guys
sure.
worked with us when we needed to learn a lot of stuff. You
Yeah.
guys brought a lot of data to the table that helped
Yeah.
us. And the great thing about our relationship, and still to this day, if something's shit, you know it immediately when you put it on your hey, this
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
this
I know it's gonna be in left field or not.
yeah, this thing don't work. This ain't gonna work. You're way off. Your thoughts are wrong, and that relationship, over and above a lot of things that we can do in the shop,
Yeah.
our relationship has taken the whole thing to another level.
Yeah.
And for that we're obviously grateful for, but a lot of guys don't have that opportunity.
Well, I mean, you got basically you got your own R&D facility in your backyard here.
It pretty much.
Yeah, the way I mean, we went through. I mean, I feel like we buy for a little shop. We buy a good amount of converters. I think we're probably 10 to 15 a month, maybe. I mean, we're not a Summit Racing or anything like that, but we were buying. I mean, I'm not gonna start naming companies, but we had a really good relationship with another company out in Florida, and they got really big, and the customer service kind of went down. And I felt like the honesty of the situation went down. Everything about this industry is almost like selling you a dream, selling you
Yeah.
a lot of shit,
Yeah,
and then
it really is.
like, yes, we can do it. In all actuality, we're gonna figure it out with you.
Mhm.
And then we went to another localish company and bought all kinds of stuff and was told it would work, and that's how we came across Bubba, because here it is, race season, it didn't work, and pulling it out, what are we gonna do about it? Can't even get a phone call back.
Yeah.
And the probably the most honest thing anyone's ever said to me is like, listen, I don't really know 100% sure, but we could try it, and here, try this one, and that's what we did.
That's what I ran into when I first started putting my stuff together. I dropped a converter off to Rick at his house on a Sunday afternoon. Like,
Right.
he's out there hanging out with his kid in the garage, and I'm out here giving him a convert. Like, he doesn't have to be dealing with me, but like, I'd call him on his cell phone and he'd pick up on a Sunday. Like, that's the small business aspect of what you guys do. Like, regardless,
Right.
I feel like regardless of how big you've gotten, you still kept that like small, like local, small town
It's
Absolutely.
hard,
aspect.
it's
of
hard
the
to keep
business.
that, though.
It
It is.
is.
It really is. Because I mean, how many people are you dealing with now? It's not the 20 racers it used to be. You know what I mean?
Well, what it used to be was, there was a handful of us.
Yeah.
We all we all did the same shit, went to the same tracks, and it was cool because I got a guy.
Mm-hmm.
It was an I got a guy thing,
Yeah.
Let me call my converter guy.
Yeah.
And that was great. And it was cool for me to think, man, these guys think enough of me and our company that they're gonna call me
Yeah.
when they got a question. Or there's a guy at the track that has a question, and instead of calling the other guy, they're calling us. This is
Yeah.
great. Well, and anybody that's watching, don't think I don't appreciate that, but it's to a point now where it don't end.
No.
The phone goes all night.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm to the point my wife's like, you need 2 phones.
Yeah.
This one has to stay in the drawer when we go to dinner or
Yeah,
when
we
we
shut
go,
that thing
and we do international. We got a guy in Cleveland, Gary Payne, builds a lot of Buick stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how, but the guy sends like these engine packages to Denmark, seems to be a deal. And he sends our converters, he buys our converters, they go with the engine. And, these guys will call I don't know what the hell time zone they're in, but it's certainly not close to ours.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
not ours. It's not
And
ours.
or I'll get up in the morning and I got this message from like 4:30 in the morning from a dude that I don't even know.
And then you
know?
call him back in the middle of the night.
Right,
That's I'm good about that. Hey, what's up, man?
Right.
Another guy. I'm in California. Okay.
Right. So,
Sorry.
But yeah, the whole network of people that could always get a hold of us, that'll never change.
Right.
Now the cool thing is Logan has his circle of people,
Yep.
and they approach him,
Mm-hmm.
and so what used to be just the small thing that me and Rick started.
Yeah.
Now with Logan and he's young, he has the energy and the drive.
Yep.
So he's going to take this thing way further than me and Rick ever would. That's a fact.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's creating his own network of
Well,
people.
and it's nice that he's where you guys are at now at such a young age.
Oh yeah,
Like you guys built the platform for him to be able to expand
absolutely.
Yeah.
10 times what you could have when you started it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't know, like again, like not everybody knows you, but the whole story of you and Rick was your partner,
Yep.
and Logan is now your partner, and Logan was Rick's, and unfortunately Rick passed 3 or 4 years
Yeah,
ago.
3 years ago, the next month.
Yeah. And
Unexpected.
I'd probably say it was probably the biggest struggle you probably had throughout this whole situation.
Yeah.
You think in the last 20 years?
Absolutely, and honestly, it's still a struggle for me.
Yeah.
Not to go into all that, but the thing is, Rick and I were together since 7th grade,
Yeah.
like brothers.
Right.
Yeah.
So, that don't go away.
No.
That don't change. But the one thing that probably pulled me through that was when Rick's son came to me 2 days later after Rick passed, and he said, "You gonna be all right?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "If you can get by till Monday, I'll be there, man, and we'll get through this." And we have.
Yeah.
And the greatest part of that is we have a plan in place, me and him. And, Rick and I, because of the fact that we started with nothing, so everything we got we needed.
Yeah.
So now we're in a position that we have a plan for Logan to take this thing. If I drop dead sitting here,
Right.
the plan's in place.
Yeah.
It wasn't before.
Well, I mean, why would it have been? I
We
would
know.
have never
You don't
foreseen that
expect
happening.
You don't-
it's just 20 years like that.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't we'll get to it. We'll get to it. We'll
Right.
get to it.
Well, but it's not like Rick was in a place in his life where like everybody was sitting here waiting for him to kick the bucket.
Right,
You know,
right.
like,
No.
that wasn't the case at all. Like he was,
No, that
for all intents and purposes,
We worked on Wednesday.
Pretty good, I mean-
we worked on Wednesday and he was gone Monday.
yeah.
that hit the whole racing community, like locally.
It was-
pretty freaking hard.
I couldn't believe it. I sat on the phone with Batdor for
Like,
an
what?
hour when I saw what happened. I'm like, this is like, there's no way. Because I had just talked to him
Right.
a week prior to that. I think.
Right.
It's just-
And yeah, so when something like that happens, it's obviously tragic. It's whatever you call it. But and I even gave you guys advice at that time: get your shit in order.
yeah.
And so not to dwell on that, but it put us in a position mentally to focus on the business as a business,
Right.
instead of looking at it saying, what do we got to do next to get a couple bucks to get
Right.
through the day type.
I mean, but this is the real world of it. It's not all roses.
Yeah, it's not all roses and rainbows,
Like,
dude.
it's
It ain't.
not.
No, the struggles are
Really
real.
isn't.
The same struggles that families have,
Yep.
small businesses have, and I believe, that one thing that gets you through that is your family
Yeah.
and your close people that you're around.
Yep.
Without that network, double network, family and your business family,
Yeah.
Yep.
you don't get through these things.
No.
And big businesses get through them because they have a layer of people
Yeah.
to just pick up them pieces.
Yep.
When you're a small company,
You
two,
don't
three
have that
guys,
buffer.
you don't. You're dependent on each other every day.
Yep. Everyone's got their roles, and now,
Yep.
and there might be that stuff you didn't even know that is taken care of that now just need taken care of.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Absolutely.
know,
And the simple shit that you don't think of.
Yeah.
Signing a check.
Yeah.
Going to the bank. The whole money side of the business. So and now that's all in place.
Yeah.
Before none of it was. It was could have been way worse.
Yeah.
But everything just because of our families
Yeah.
and the relationship we all had, we got through it. We made it work.
It just it made me happy when Logan kind of stepped up and
Absolutely.
just, I mean, both feet in. That was
all in.
And that actually kind of tells you what kind of dad Rick was.
Oh,
Like,
100%, 100%.
He set up his son for success.
Yeah.
He has three. They had three sons, and the two that I was closest with, that they don't have an issue. You know, them boys, they're not boys now; they're men,
Yeah.
and they will always land on their feet.
Yeah.
And that's good. It's good for them. It's good for us, for the business. You know that Logan wants to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, he'll take us way further than I ever was going to.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
So
I'd say that's probably your biggest challenge to your success that you've had so far, and it's
Absolutely.
obviously not a fun thing to talk about.
Yeah. That was,
Where do you see the future going? Where's it going to stop? I know you have a line of bolt together torque converters coming out, which I am extremely in line to get the first turbo one.
yep. So
I better get the first turbo. I better get before Cadillac Sean.
I don't want the first turbo one because my shit's not gonna be ready, but I
So-
will eventually need one.
It'll be in my car like
and
2
Bill.
years after.
So one thing that our business model, if you will, has always been very simple.
What are you doing?
We bring what the people want.
Right, you fill a hole in the market.
We get it handled, whatever it may be. The one thing, and you and I have talked about this a lot, you know this, the one thing now that we face in the high performance industry in general is the ability to make cheap horsepower.
Yeah.
1,000 horsepower just isn't what it used to be.
No, it ain't shit right now.
So with that
It's put you in a
said,
D team.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
so with that said, man, this happens overnight. Blink of an eye, here we go. You know.
Yep.
So, not to say we got passed up, but we might have been sleeping a little bit when this all was happening.
Well,
And as it happened, you're trying to react, but
Right.
you got this full line of products back here that you're doing okay with.
Yeah.
You know.
right.
So you don't have any time to do any R&D.
Like, what are you
Right.
trying to fix not broken?
Right, and then and all along, every off season, you're talking to guys. Oh yeah, I'm going to 100 and whatever. You know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And you're like, holy shit, man.
Well, so, right, like you say, like okay, so like you're kind of behind the curve on that, but are you really? Because now there's a hole in the market that can't get filled by those big name guys. Right?
They can't. Right.
You physically cannot call, like one of your competitors, I don't know, competitor, whatever, one of the big guys,
Yeah, we're not dropping names.
and get someone on the phone, the owner of the company maybe, get a recommendation and actually get a product out in a reasonable amount of time. When I say
Yeah.
reasonable amount of time, maybe a month.
Right.
Right.
You're not getting it. You're not getting it in 6 weeks. You're not getting a call back. You're not getting it in 2 months.
Right. So there's definitely a.
There's a hole in the market of actually
There's
just getting something.
Yeah.
Like,
So what our goal to do is fill that hole at least in our market.
yeah, at least locally.
Right here. What happens over in the other state, I don't care.
Yeah, you're not right.
And I don't want to. And what I've learned is, we cannot be everything to everybody. But what we want to be is the best we can to the people that we deal with.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We want to give them the products they need. We want to put a product out there for the working man. And we've always said that. That's what we're about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be the guy selling $10,000 torque converters.
No.
I'm not. And honestly, I don't want to be that guy. Because the market for that guy, it's tiny.
Well, and those people, the people that are buying those torque converters, expect perfection the first time they put it in.
Yeah.
And a lot of what we do, like I can tell you what my car weighs and what gear I'm running and what trans I got and what all that. But at the end of the day, like we're still kind of shooting in the dark when we're doing a converter.
I've talked to the smartest, the best of the best,
Yeah.
and their answer is let's try it and see.
Yeah.
There's
And
no this is what you unless it's like a 2002 Camaro SS with a cam.
Right. There's data for
Like
everywhere.
Bubba stocked up with 5 of the same exact torque converters.
Yeah.
Like that recipe's fixed. Your no
Yeah.
prep car that weighs 3,800 pounds that you drive on the street. There's no recipe for your particular situation.
Right.
There isn't, and you have to try it. And
That's big.
yeah,
2 seats.
it's like a thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
30. No, I'm saying 3,800 pounds. That's that.
3830 is what my car weighs.
Full grown.
Yeah, but you're making 3,500 horsepower.
Yeah,
Mr.
35.
Mr. Big Pockets.
I don't know about 3,500 horsepower.
With that V6?
With my little slant six.
I gotta
Slant six, yeah.
put plastic doors on my car because I can't make that kind of horsepower. So.
I have a car, and no one will probably believe me, but it's got, I'm not gonna say what it's got, because then I'll get kicked out of some of these classes and shit.
Right.
Here we go.
Don't tell. We're on. We're
We
on.
have opened up our classes a little bit. Like our small tire classes open
There's,
a little
let's just
more
say,
than it was.
there's rules that don't allow fiberglass, where there's fiberglass. And then they'll be like, oh, you can't run that, but
You got fiberglass quarters on it? Like what?
no,
You got a fiberglass roof?
no.
Well, then what are we talking about?
Not your particular, there's other classes around that
Well, you've already sold yourself out. Now they're looking for your fiberglass.
find it. That's Bondo. You put a magnet over it, that's Bondo. It's a Mopar, they'll believe it.
It'll never rust there, though. That's
This is probably true.
That's Bondo.
right.
So,
Oh goodness.
So you guys started doing transmission stuff.
yes, that's.
We did.
That's the
That
new
was,
thing.
that was what?
We
I
did.
mean, that was probably 2 or 3 years ago. You
Well,
guys
we
really
started messing with it, but now we're all in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, market driven.
Yeah.
We were building transmissions 35 years ago. My back's wrecked, so for me to throw transmissions around, it just don't happen.
You got a young guy there.
But I got a lot of knowledge about transmissions, and as I told Logan, it'd be great if we could hook some jumper cables up somewhere on my ear or something, and just download all this into you. But unfortunately,
he won't know until his back is broken either.
right? This business will do that. But baby steps. Everything we do is methodically thought out. I'm just not the guy that jumps in with both feet and says, let's do this. We get our recipe down.
Yeah.
We set it up for success.
Yeah.
Failure at this point in the game just isn't an option. We have to do it right.
Yeah.
And we have to make sure that when the product leaves, it is what we say it is.
So, transmission dyno?
Working on it. I own it.
Okay.
I own it.
We gotta plug it in, right?
I gotta get it to the shop and get it set up.
Okay.
And the one I bought most likely won't be the end all for us.
Yeah.
It'll be a good start. It's a purpose-built dyno for transmissions.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, now, man, there's some really slick dynos out there.
Yeah.
But they're big money,
I
and
feel like if you could put a transmission on a transmission dyno to make sure it works,
Yeah.
check charge pressure,
That's 80% of it.
that's a good part of it.
and charge pressure with the converter that's going to be used in the transmission.
Yeah, that's
pretty
big.
important. That's a
Yeah,
little tech tip for you guys.
It's gonna be a great tool for setting that.
Mm-hmm.
If we're doing a dump valve setup or just a simple charge, setup.
Yeah.
We will be able to set all that before it leaves.
So a trans dyno is pretty much a motor. That
Yep.
transmission's
Yeah.
bolted and you fire that sucker up, right?
Yep, and on the back side of it, depending on the type of dyno, there's either a giant weight, there could be an eddy current brake, which is what my eventual dyno will be.
Yeah.
Because I can load that cell and really beat the shit out of that
Yeah, that's what
transmission.
we have on our chassis now, an eddy current brake.
Yeah,
Big,
so-
big giant electromagnetic,
Yes.
huge thing.
So they make a trans dyno that has that on the back of it as well.
Awesome.
So once you load that thing, man, you can really drag them down and put
So what are our lines? What transmission are we doing? For our ladies, yes?
yes, 80s, 65s, 400s, glides, and a lot of diesel stuff.
Yeah, I saw that.
Logan's into diesel.
Yeah.
That's his deal. He's got a really deep roots with the guys local with some of the big diesel shops.
Okay.
And again, one of those things I didn't even see it coming.
Yeah.
It just started out. Logan says, "What do you know about a 48?" I said, "Honestly, not much, but I know a shitload about 727s, and that's what it is with the overdrive on the back."
Yeah.
I said, "Figure out the overdrive, the rest will take care of itself."
Yep.
So he calls me that night, because this is just how Logan is, and he says, "I got one." I said, "What? You got what?" He said, "I got a 48. Like, okay. Yeah, it's at the shop. I dropped it off about an hour ago.
Jesus.
And so the next day he tore it down, and he's mechanical, man.
Yeah.
He's got a mind like a steel trap, so if something comes apart, he can get it back together. And you need that for transmission work.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what started it, and then the 68s he got into really heavy. The 68 RFEs, which is the 6-speed Cummins. I think you got a 68 in your truck.
Oh yeah, I'm still limping it along.
Yeah,
Right,
so-
right to Florida.
Yeah. So he got into them, and now we're starting to get calls for the 69s, which is another gigantic beast of a Cummins transmission. So
Yeah.
the transmission thing, it's I'll never say it'll just kind of take care of itself because it needs a lot of care.
Yeah.
But the whole idea is we hired a full-time machinist in the shop,
Okay.
which will take Logan back from doing that side of the work on the performance stuff. And we need one more guy in the shop that we want to work with. We got Billy, who's helping us with some R&D. He's helping us with some sales. He's setting up our part numbering system. All the things that for us to go to that next level, we got to get in place.
Yeah.
Because it's all in my head. And I can look at dyno sheets and run numbers and say, these are the 3 components you need. But I got to sit them out. The whole idea is what we want to be able to do is have a part number that tells whoever's putting that part together, these are the 3 components.
Yeah.
Because I've pretty much pigeonholed myself into never being able to take a day off.
Yeah.
Because the knowledge is in my head, and I got to get it so that it can be on paper.
Even when
and-
you're off, your phone's on.
Right. So the whole idea is to get us to that point. So the transmission thing, yes, it's happening. Couple of week right now we're doing,
Awesome.
and the plan would be obviously to get us to a point where I can hire a builder, an actual, real, experienced transmission builder.
Awesome.
And I know several. When you're in this business this long, the circle of people that do it is
Yeah.
it never gets bigger.
No.
Because one falls out, and
Somebody fills the spot.
Yep.
yeah. So
Somebody gets married and has
you
kids.
know, yeah, right.
Yeah.
You've been around a couple transmission shops. You know how it works.
Yep.
You know that's it's like the name changed, but the face stayed the same.
Yep.
So,
100%.
but we got some guys that will help us if we need it, if we get in a jam, and on top of that, some of them want to work for us. You know, they see something special.
Yeah.
What we got going. One thing that I'll never be a greedy guy owning the business, counting all the money. I'm about, I want everybody to get, if it's there, we're all gonna have fun.
That's how I feel too.
You know.
I'm pretty sure the guys that work for us don't think I'm full of shit, but that's like I figure my mom is if I'm making money, you're making money.
Absolutely.
So I don't want anybody to go without or struggle or like anything else, like that.
Right.
Unless Billy worked for me, then I would,
Billy is, he's just that guy,
Yeah.
Everybody's gotta have one.
Yeah.
Like-
Billy's actually here. He's a surprise. He's gonna be our racer spotlight today.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big thing with Billy. Like Billy's just shown up to the track that I'm at, like helping me out. And, like I didn't know he was coming. He didn't know I was going
nudges
there.
himself in there.
I did
Like, where the fuck
literally
you
told
come from,
nobody
Billy?
I was going to the track because I didn't want
Billy,
anybody
you're just
there
changing
bothering
spark
me.
plugs
They're
on my
like,
car
"Come
right
here."
now. I didn't look like he's on another change sparks. What are you doing?
Well, I'm gonna tell you guys about the kind of guy that he is. This is no shit, what I'm getting ready to tell you. It's 100% true story. He comes in the shop, and I'm not in the best of shape. I know the cameras probably don't show that, but
That's an extra 50 pounds to my
at least minimum.
They're very slimming lenses.
Yeah.
They're fine.
So, the thing is, the work don't go away. Whether you got help, whether you do,
Right.
don't, whatever, we got a certain amount of work we got to get done. So Billy comes in, and I'm over there sweating.
Cussing.
One foot in the grave, the other one, on a banana pill. Is how I felt.
Yeah.
And he says, "Man, where's all your help?" I said, "You're looking at it, man." It was me and Logan, And he said, "You got a lot going on in here, man." I'm like, "Yeah, we do. We're busy." He said, "You need some help, dude." I'm like, "Yeah, bring me some."
Yeah.
So, no shit, the next day, Billy shows up in work clothes.
That's Billy.
And he just starts working.
The classic. He's just gonna nudge himself in there.
Yeah.
Got himself a second job.
Right, yeah. And he's like, "I'm going to help you guys for a while, man. You need some help." And we need you. Like, I don't want you to check out on me, you know?
That's happened here. That's how willing you guys are. You just showed up and just started helping us.
Yeah.
I guess we'll pay you.
Yeah. And then how do you yell at the guy? We always say it's like the Seinfeld show
Yeah.
when Kramer was going to that place to work every day, but he wasn't like on the payroll.
Yeah, he was just
And
there.
the guy's like, I gotta fire you. He says, I don't even work here. So that, yeah,
So
that's
you literally have to then write Billy a check so you can bitch him out.
right.
For being
Yeah, can I pay you something?
Yeah.
Because
Hey, here's $100.
Sit down.
Now I'm going to
Go
school.
fuck yourself. All right.
yeah. So now he has worked himself into, like I said, he's going to help get us set up with some streamline our computer system and part numbering.
And the cameras are facing this way, and Billy's over there.
Billy's over there. Billy, come around.
over so they can see that face of yours.
So Billy's
It's ugly.
a racer,
Yeah.
and
Wait, that's a very loose term. He shows up to the track and
and tears shit
Blows the
up.
tires off.
he
first
generally
round,
uses
and we go
both
home.
lanes. I think
Yes.
sometimes he gets.
That was just last year, though.
Sometimes Billy
I
gets.
got faith in you this year.
Sometimes Billy gets drag racing confused with bumper bowling.
It happens.
He does not know the word lift.
I did watch you go through the finish line backwards at Magnolia
With the wind light on.
with the wind light on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Miraculously, I don't know how.
yeah.
And came back for second round.
In the grass. You get in the grass at Magnolia and get out of it and nobody gets hurt. That's
You
a
didn't even
good
hit anything.
That's a win.
No.
Sure.
Just grass.
Just grass.
Yeah, you were there too.
Oh, I was there.
Yeah.
We were all there. It was interesting.
So he's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
He's got a night job.
Yep.
Works all night.
You're a computer nerd for a living, right?
Yeah.
Correct, yes.
Takes a nap.
Totally looks like a hillbilly, but not a computer nerd.
Takes a nap. Comes to the converter
Took me a lot
shop.
to get there.
Right. No, he still is.
I figured you'd be shoveling cow shit.
He will overanalyze
Probably
the shit
would
out of
if he
stuff.
needed to.
Trust me.
Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah.
I know. You sat in front of my desk in front of me. I'm just like, God.
Yeah.
Okay. We're
Please.
talking about head stuff for the last 45 minutes.
Just trying to get a lunch order together here, guys. Yeah, so he comes, works with us, and then he tries to sell converters at night, or at some point, and
Sometime.
brings me all these great ideas of different things that he thinks we could be doing to better our company, which,
Yeah.
again, the guy just showed up, which we've known him for years. Obviously, we've been building
He's not a
stuff.
stranger. He
Right.
just-
Well,
But
what he's not telling you is he started off as my race sponsors.
yeah,
Yeah.
and there was a little help there, but not near as much as he's given back. And it's like, okay, great.
Which is how sponsorship is supposed to work, by
Yeah,
the way.
yeah.
Maybe we should have a quick. How many people have asked you if you to sponsor them, right?
Every single person you talk to.
Yeah. Like,
If I put your sticker on my car,
Yeah. Will you help me out, or can I get a free converter? Like,
yeah,
dude,
what do you got for me?
Yeah.
That's the
yeah.
question. Or
the email. I wanted to sponsor. I am building a car.
yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Bill.
Billy's camera shy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sit his ass right there, and we're gonna grill him next.
yeah.
he's like Talladega Nights. He's like,
I don't want to do
with
my hands.
He's just standing there.
Cross them, drink.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh,
Yeah, unless he's going sideways down the track, he doesn't know the
Yeah.
these hands. Even actually, the way he drives his car, it's like.
Yeah, I was gonna say, apparently he didn't know he was doing that.
them hands ain't on the wheel. He's up here doing something. He's
Uh-huh.
yeah. Yeah, the sponsor thing, of all the people that we've ever helped, like, we're gonna help you because whatever the reason may be.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot. You guys, you could count them on one hand where that reciprocated.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
It just don't. And it's not because we don't want to be helpful.
Mhm.
I'll give you all the free advice I can until it hurts. But what we got to do as businesses is we have to be profitable and we have to make
Yep.
sure that we're protecting what we do.
Yep.
And sponsoring just seems to be the worst thing we could do to end that way.
It absolutely. I mean, it absolutely. And here's the thing. Like, as a racer, and I was a racer before I was anything in the industry. Really, I wasn't even a racer. I was just a dude that was trying to build a car at one point. But Rick's always helped me out. I've never asked Rick to do anything for free. I've always anticipated paying whatever Rick tells me I'm paying.
Right.
Same with you. I came to you. I had a need. You filled my need. I have no problem paying whatever you're charging me.
Right.
at the end of the day, I've built relationships with everybody, and we all kind of work together with things, and
Help each other out.
And
you know?
we all help each other out. But you'll never see me complain. Oh, what do you mean I got to pay? Like that's not how a business operates.
Yeah,
Right.
It's I think what people forget, it's a two-way street.
Yeah, 100%.
That we cannot pay our rent
No.
on exposure. I
yeah,
call them exposure
no.
pennies.
Right.
You're
No.
gonna get exposure.
Yeah, nobody cares.
If you're asking for a sponsorship, you're probably not gonna get it. Just
Right.
Right.
like you have to, you know, that always brings up because we get asked to be. I've sponsored cars.
Yeah.
Okay, I've put my neck on the line. I said, all right, I'll sponsor you. I've built turbo kits. I've built for cost of half of nothing or cost of material, or I have like tuned cars. I've done all that stuff, and and I've also seen my parts that I've made for sale before for more money than what they've charged them for.
Yeah.
That's a kick in the shorts.
It
Yep.
is.
The worst part about doing that with the parts, you got real money in that shit.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Real money.
Yeah.
Anybody that thinks that this is cheap, come look at my bank, my checking.
Yep.
Billy's been around. He knows what we're going through right now. I know what you guys are going through. We're paying. I don't even know the percentages over what it's costing us right now to do business of what it was.
I mean,
And them are the things that the people that are on the other side of it, they don't see it. You know,
No.
when you say, hey, this thing's $1,000, Jesus Christ, must be nice. You know, you hear this.
they think you get a full $1,000.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, you're rich. No, dude. If I'm making 20% on that at the end of the day,
Yep.
man, I'm feeling pretty good about
Oh,
this. And you know, when we set up a dealer like you guys, we count on the volume
Yeah.
of what you're doing
Yep.
and that exposure of our product
Oh, yeah.
through a reputable company.
Right.
And for that, obviously, there is a relationship, but you know, like you say, the sponsorship, that's a tough one, man. I've helped people.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, you do a 15, 20-minute job for a guy, that goes a long way when he walks out the door and you fix the shit for,
Yeah.
for next to nothing.
Yep.
Right.
But starting out with brand new parts and
Yeah.
you know, all that, that's tough.
I think I ordered my torque converter from you guys. I was on my honeymoon in Puerto Rico, and I paid for it.
Yeah.
No problem. Like that's business. Like there's
Right.
no way you're gonna keep your lights on if I'm expecting you to do things for me for free when I've not done anything for you. Like you
Right.
get people reaching out like, hey, you want to sponsor my car? Like what does that do for anybody?
Right.
There's no.
The product should, you know, put us in that position.
Yeah.
To,
Here's a good example. You're probably sponsoring Billy, right? Billy runs a sticker on his car. Billy's wearing a hat.
Billy works at your shop.
Billy works at your shop.
I mean,
Okay, you put a converter. You put a converter. Billy, you give Billy. Here's a converter. Billy is trying out converters for you,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
He's R&Ding them.
yes.
Yep.
Billy does not go on the internet after you get a free part and complain about it.
No.
This
No.
converter didn't work. You got like Billy understands that he's a representation of your company,
Sure.
like everywhere.
Yeah.
Whether if he's wearing that shirt at a bar,
Yep.
or that hat at a bar, and he gets into a bar fight, or he says some stupid shit, or
Right.
whatever it is that he's representing your company. And I don't think people fully grasp that when they're
No.
asking for free parts or service or labor or
Right.
you know, the thing is like if you're gonna come at someone for a sponsorship, you better successfully accomplish something in your
Yeah.
racing career
Right.
before that. Like
Yeah.
like that really like you're not an up and comer getting free parts. You're an up and comer paying for it.
Yeah.
It is. And then once you do something, you win some races. You get some actual notoriety out there.
Yep.
People know your name. Whatever the situation is, like whether it used to be back when there was magazines, your car was in a magazine,
Right.
or you know, it's other places. Then you're more apt to get deals or better prices. But even then, like
Full blown sponsorships just.
that just doesn't happen. I get like some good. I got a lot of free parts for my car. I've also like the smaller guys. I got that I do some other parts. I'm like, I got to give you more money than that.
Yeah.
You can't work for $500. Like,
Right.
That's just not here. What I don't know how much it's supposed to cost.
Right.
But here's some more.
Yeah.
Like, And I'm not rich or nothing, you know what I mean? But I also get it, man. I get it. Like, we're out here, we're trying to do what we love for a living, right? And that is not an easy task.
It's not. The thing with sponsoring somebody, when you say sponsor, you know, that's a broad
Yeah,
thing.
Very.
But
very broad.
when we work with a guy like Billy, for instance, or we got another guy, Mike Walker, he does some
Yep,
testing. He tests for us.
yep.
So-
You've been almost every track around.
Technically, they work for you.
Right. So what he is doing is he's taking something that I have in my head, and he puts that in the car, and he gives me real world data,
Yeah.
and comes back and says, "You're in left field.
Yep.
You guys did it.
Yep.
And you still do it.
Yep.
But there's nothing to compare with putting that thing on the track,
Nope.
and in a different weather and different things, and making it work. And a guy like Billy who knows his car, or a guy like Mike or you who know your car, and you know that in this weather my car should do this.
Oh, yeah.
I put this converter in and we're way off, dude. Or
Yeah.
60 foot's like crazy and then falls on its face,
Right,
or
right.
whatever the case is. So then we come back, we make a change. You know, now Billy's telling me what stator needs to be put in. So,
Yeah.
you know, he'll look at the guy's build sheet and he's like, dude, this is really close to my setup, but he needs to be a hair loose.
Yeah.
You know, and now with the Bolt Together program, it's a stator change.
Yeah.
So with that said, you know, we have something to offer now that, you know, a lot of bigger companies offer.
Or different stators for different track conditions. Like if you're
Absolutely.
a guy like me, I do all kinds of racing. Like I'll do no prep.
You'll
prep.
put radials on your car and go
Yeah.
radio racing.
All right,
Yep.
so let's. I like a stator for a no prep, which is gonna be a loose one. I want one for a tight track, you know. And I'm not like there's guys that'll switch them out between rounds. You know, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to go like that, but
Right.
it is nice to be able to unbolt that sucker, put an O-ring in it, and change the stator out, and you're
Yeah.
back in it.
Or if you're questioning it, you know,
Yeah.
you're at a track for 2 or 3 days. You're in the money,
Yeah.
you know, and you got to grab a couple of your guys and say, hey, we got to get this thing on the ground.
Yeah.
I might have a hurt converter.
Yeah.
You know, you grenade trans. You got a spare trans. You know that all that shit's in that converter
Oh, yeah.
too.
Yeah.
You know, you can open it up.
Take it apart, clean it out.
And you know, for years I was against it. Honest to God, you
No,
guys
I
know
were.
me. I was
know
like,
you were. We talked about it.
I ain't messing with it, man. I don't need 100 geniuses putting their hands in these things, and you know this. But again, the business dictates what you're going to do,
Yeah,
and
people
here we
want
are.
it. You get what people want. Plus, I mean, how many times do you get to cut a converter open before it's scrap? Before
Right.
you put a cover on
Right.
it. You know,
Right.
2-3 times. What do you get out of it? Like,
Yeah.
Depends if it's one of ours, and we built it from, you know, conception. With that said, a lot of times we can get 8-10 cuts out of one.
oh, okay.
Unless I cut it.
Billy likes to cut them in half because he just loves to see me do work I really don't need to be doing.
No,
Uh, but depending on whose it is and how it was cut,
Yeah.
you know, if you leave the stock on there, you can get some life out of it.
okay. Now, is that, every time you cut it, does that change stall speed or anything? Does it move some of the clearances around?
No,
or
no. So the way a converter, I was going to bring one, but I didn't. We'll get a bolt together, and you guys can. If I'll come back or whatever, and we can kind of go over it. But the way a welded converter goes is you have 2 halves, and they go across like this,
Yeah.
and they're welded at the seam. So every time you cut, you take a small amount of what's called the skirt away. You have to cut some of that stock away and get past the penetration of the weld.
Yeah.
So every time you do that, you move that skirt up on the cover, but the internal parts are always the same, set by the machine
Gotcha.
before you weld it back together.
Okay.
So, and the internal clearance is very important.
Yeah, I know. I've sent a couple competitors, and you're like, we don't have any more cuts on this thing. We need to order a cover or whatever. And
Right.
it's like,
And honestly, I think some shops, none, never would I mention, but I honestly think they cut it, they build them that way.
yeah.
So
Like
they can't
to-
be cutting.
Well, they want to give it a little life, but you know,
Yeah.
let's not give them a lifetime converter here, you know,
Right.
type thing, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I'm like, give the guy, he bought it,
Right.
he bought that part. I
Yeah.
didn't. I'm just the guy in the middle. He's paying for it. Give him what he paid for. You know, that's just my mentality.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it makes your life a little easier because now you don't have to try to keep stock in stuff that if you can cut somebody's converter open, make some adjustments, and get back to
Absolutely.
them, you don't have to buy a whole case and everything. It just
Absolutely, and you know, this year at PRI, in years past, and I just think business has evolved. People realize with the virus and all this shit going on.
Yeah.
You know, we all got to survive this
We have
this
no
game.
choice. We have to just figure it out.
We got to figure it out. So one thing that this year was really good was talking to competitors, talking to colleagues in the business.
Mm-hmm.
We had a dinner with one of our suppliers after Friday night, and it was all converter guys,
Yeah.
performance converter shops. And that's hard to get us all together.
Oh, yeah.
And not motherfuck each other.
Well,
Right.
but at the end of the day, most of us know each other.
Yeah.
You know,
I know, yeah.
I'm not going to bring 3 of my competitors in here to sit with me in your podcast, but
No.
if I needed something from Pro Torque, for instance, I could
Yeah.
call Joe,
Yeah.
and he would be more than willing to help me. Because in the end, I mean,
There's plenty of work. to
we're
do.
all just
Yeah.
doing what we're doing, you know.
That's
Yeah.
like it is funny because a lot of us do talk, and you'll get that one
Mhm.
customer that'll try and
Play both ends against
oh
the middle.
yeah, and it's like yeah, well we talk, and
Right.
that's not the real story,
Right.
and that's not
Well, it was funny, we were talking about doing this, and, you know, we were talking about what friends and what people and what racers and what, you know, other shops and stuff we could have on here, and, like, we're talking about direct competitors of his that live in Ohio, and we're like, we could have them on the show, because, like, at the end of the day, like, there's so much work in our industry that one shop's not gonna be able to do it all.
No.
So, like, we have to have competitors. We have to have other shops that are reputable. Because, I mean, you couldn't do all the torque converters for all the cars. And,
No way.
and
And then you might not
not even
be-
in the county.
And
Let alone,
there might be
you know what I mean?
situations where you're like, I just can't do what you need me to do, and there might be another converter place that actually has that niche and can
Right.
do it, and
Right.
you send it to them.
And that's part of the networking,
Right.
Because I can make a call to somebody I know, and that was part of what I was saying there a minute ago was we made connections with other companies
Yeah.
that now all of a sudden they'll sell me parts.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if I cut open a Cohen converter, for instance,
Mhm.
and there's no life left in it, but I could get by with a pump,
Yeah.
where in the past proprietary part they're not selling it.
Right.
Now you talk to them, yeah, I'll sell you that.
Yeah, because
What's
they're backed up 4 months from cutting like
Well, yeah.
this is gonna
Right.
go in the garbage. You're gonna sell them a new one. Might as well sell you the part. Like you know.
And at the end of the day, you're keeping their converter in somebody else's car.
And that's and the reality of that is, why would you not sell me that pump?
Yeah.
Right.
That's your converter. You're gonna look like the bad guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Not please don't think I'm saying it was Cohen. That,
No.
But I'm
No,
saying,
it's an yeah.
as an example,
Yeah.
they were, very receptive to that.
Yeah.
And in the past, you would ask a certain company, "Hey, would you sell me a cover, for instance? Yours are all by themselves, and if I could get
Yeah.
a couple." Oh no, you either send the whole converter or whatever.
Right.
We don't sell parts.
Yeah.
And in my world, we sell what the customer needs.
Yeah.
So if I got a converter in another state and another shop cuts it, and the guy says, "Hey, if you send me this, I can get this guy out of trouble."
Yeah.
I'm sending it.
Yeah.
And if it's under warranty, our warranty's a year.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do to it. Our performance stuff's a year warranty.
Which is crazy as a performance part to
It
cover
is.
it for any sort of time, especially a part like that.
Yeah,
Usually, for force parts warranty, they're gonna cover it
Yeah.
exactly except for what's actually gonna go wrong.
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
I don't even ask. Billy's seen me cut shit open. He's
Yeah.
like,
I don't even want to know.
you know,
I don't even know what you did.
You know,
I need to know.
yeah.
Just, you know.
Yeah, let me pull my notes. Did it work? Yep. It was perfect right up until it wasn't.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me take care of it.
Rex.
Yeah.
Have I destroyed one?
No. No, not yours personally. Yours is in good shape.
Yeah. I've destroyed everything else attached to the torque converter.
Yeah, you have
Yeah,
you have created carnage, to say the least. So
Uh,
yeah, that's the whole thing, and getting people what they need at the end of the day is what we're all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you need a cord, I can help you. You guys know me.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I make a call. I don't have to make a bunch of money on everything
No,
we
I'm
do.
good. I'm really good about putting myself in weird pickles. Like I somehow made a deal to trade for a billet lid for my intake for some cores of transmissions. I have no idea how to get core. I'm like, yeah, you need 3 4L60 cores? No problem. You make this piece for me, and then I'm like, that's when I realized there ain't no fucking cores around. I'm like,
No.
you want how much for a core? I'm not paying $900 for a core.
So I guess that's another question, because from a race promoter standpoint, like the whole pandemic, everybody seemed to struggle except the racing industry.
Crazy.
That was one of the most amazing things I ever saw was when we had an event in the middle of everybody freaking out about the coronavirus. There was damn near 2,000 people packed at a racetrack. I'm like, this is insane.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's
It was
still
like-
going.
It was like
Because-
the only thing that didn't suffer was the racing industry until supplies started being an issue,
Yeah,
getting parts and all that.
I'll tell you right now, we have not business-wise, like last year was our biggest year revenue-wise
Yeah.
we've had in 15 years.
Yep.
And however, it was the hardest year just from stupid shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I tune.
Yeah.
I also build headers, I fabricate.
Yep.
I don't have time to fabricate now because I'm on the phone chasing parts.
Yep.
When I'm not on the dyno, I'm on the phone leaving messages,
Mm-hmm.
sending emails to not get anything back.
Yep.
And we're talking big companies. I actually went to PRI and I went, why don't you answer your phone?
Like, dude, because I'm still trying to call the people back from a week
Like-
before you called me.
Like, you know, I get it. Why don't you send, like, how do I buy stuff from, like,
Yeah.
like one of the turbo companies I deal with, like, I was doing 40, 50 grand a year, easy,
Yeah.
and I think it was 12 grand last year, not because I don't go out of my way to sell it because I
Yeah.
can't get a hold of anybody to order it.
Right.
There's money to be spent.
It's like
There's money to
that.
be spent. It's like people
everywhere.
don't, like, it's just, I physically cannot give you
Yeah.
product, and that's the frustrating part about it is
Mhm.
somebody with a stack of money that I cannot take and I cannot produce product because it's just not there. Like
Yeah.
Whipple Superchargers is 5 months.
Yep.
You have to come in right now, pay your $7,000 or $8,000 on that supercharger in order to get it by summer. But you know everybody else that's doing that, we're gonna have a backlog
Mhm.
Well,
in June.
we're gonna have a backlog for a couple of years.
Yeah, this is gonna
Yeah,
this
this
is
isn't
gonna
like
be a problem for a while.
people, like you know, we deal with Summit Racing a lot. Their A-Tech line, like a lot, and we have our rep, and they had a big meeting, and they're telling them 2022 is gonna be worse.
Yeah.
I don't see how it couldn't be. What we're doing, what our little company has done, and we've been blessed. Our debt isn't great,
Yeah.
so we were able to take some money that we had on the sideline and put it in parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't mean we had the parts today, but what it meant was at least
You're in
the pipeline
They're coming.
is
Yeah.
staying full.
And that's what I've been doing. I've just been ordering stuff.
Just order.
But it's rough when you got to prepay it because you have $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 out of stuff you can't even tangibly look at.
Right. Well, for us, we got to buy it.
Yeah.
I can't sell it if I don't have it.
Right.
So I don't take a deposit on a torque converter unless I know positively
Parts are here.
it can go in production.
Right.
That don't mean it's going in production today,
Right.
but
you
it
got
means
it's
I can
allocated.
allocate these parts for Liser's converter.
Right.
And that is the only way I can keep selling, because if I can't tell somebody a reasonable time frame,
Right.
they're not buying it from me.
Yeah.
Period. They might, and that's why we went to having deposits,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they would order it, and in the
Take it
meantime find out that the guy down the street had a used one
Yeah.
that might work.
So
So
you don't ever get that phone call canceling it either.
No.
right,
no,
and so
no.
now you're sitting on. One thing my buddy Joe, in the converter business, used to tell people, I take a deposit because once I make your birthday cake and put "Happy Birthday, Fred" on there, if
Yeah.
Fred don't pick it up, Larry ain't getting it.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
so that's the thing. These products, a lot of stuff we do is custom for what you're building.
Yep.
And without doing a change in it, I can't sell it to the next guy. Maybe 10 down the line,
Sure.
but not the very next guy.
So now it sits on a shelf and maybe I'll
you're
sell it.
sitting. I put a post up one day. I was frustrated as hell because I got all this money sitting here,
Yeah.
and I said, if I call you and your shit's done and it sits for 30 days, I'm selling it.
Yeah.
I don't care if I got a deposit or not. I'm selling your shit.
Which is fair. I mean, it's not a storage facility.
Right.
You would think that's.
But I mean, you deal with the same shit. I've been here countless times, and I'm like, this car's been sitting. In, like, you guys were finishing this up. They're like, yeah, he still hasn't picked it up. I'm like, what?
I've had people.
I would be so mad.
We've had James is our service manager.
Yeah.
As of August, and their new guy.
New guy, new guy at Big Three.
Yeah.
Not a new guy in the In the circle, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
he's been around, but we have people that approve repairs.
Yeah.
They know how much it's gonna cost,
Yeah,
and it's done.
yeah.
And they're like, here's $100.
Uh-huh,
Here's $100.
uh-huh.
Here's $100 next week. You owe $5,000.
Yeah, you're gonna be paying this off until you're 47.
You owe $5,000. You owe $5,000, and I have $3,000 in parts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The $100 goes and disappears. Like, I
Yeah.
don't-
right, you're not making a dime on that deal.
I don't see it like. So now I mean, like, I hate having to like get a negative or when it comes to customers having to be like, look, you need to pay me. Like,
Yeah.
like to the point where I don't want to deal with billing. I don't want to deal with getting paid.
Yeah.
I pay James for that.
Yeah.
I don't like because I don't like money. I actually
Yeah.
I can't.
Well, it's
I
like
can't
an
stand
uncomfortable
dealing with,
feeling.
I don't want to like. But now it's like you have to. We get to the point. It's always between the for aftermarket performance racing whatever. For me, the worst is between SEMA and PRI.
Yeah.
Because it's the holidays.
Yep.
The manufacturers aren't there because they're doing these shows, and
Right.
you can't get a hold of them. You can't get things shipped, and it's the holidays. So customers, like, if they pay or pick up their car in the middle of winter, they don't really give a shit
No,
to
because it's
make
not
a
like they're
progress
testing.
payment because they got Christmas going on, you know. And I've said this before, is like, you may be good for your money. I am not good for your money.
Right.
So you need, we need it's always like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 owed. Try to get paid. Hey,
Yeah.
I'll catch up with you, or this, and they're not getting a hold of them, and then get closer when they want their car back. Now we can get a hold of them.
Yeah.
Or they go to PRI and see shit that don't exist. And in the meantime,
There's got to be a background story behind that.
well, no, I mean, there's all these parts at PRI, and you start talking to the vendor. Well,
that's just
yeah,
a prototype.
yeah, it's a prototype.
We're
But
gonna
in the
work on it.
meantime, you get 10 calls on it.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, I saw at PRI that so and so's making this. And,
Yeah.
I know you're putting one on my car. Can I get that one? So you
No.
got to take the
Yeah.
time to
Oh,
make
yeah.
a call for
Yeah.
a part that it may never exist, but boy, it looked cool on the table.
All right. Funny. So, what is the most ridiculous story you have around a customer? The dumbest shit they said, the
Please don't
craziest
mention me.
stunt they pulled.
I've said some dumb shit.
Like, there's got to be. I got
So
like the.
I don't know where these cameras are going, but I'm gonna say it. I got motherfucked this week
Oh, nice.
from a guy. He sends me pictures. You're the man. So when you start out with that, you pretty well guarantee yourself for failure when the guy starts with this.
What says that? That says you're the man.
I hear you're the man.
I hear you're the man.
So
This motherfucker's showing up with high
That's
expectations.
right up there with money is not a problem.
right, money's no object.
That means it is.
Yeah. So
Always.
he says, I didn't have the funds for a new converter when I did this. So immediately I'm thinking, we got scrambled eggs. This is bad. So he says, my buddy had this converter. It was built for a mid-plate. And I figured, if I whittled a little bit off of it, I could get it to fit mine. I'm like, okay, and I'm reading. This is all in an email.
On a lathe, he whittled it, right?
Hold on. This is where shit gets crazy. So I answer him back, how thick of a mid plate? He said 3/16.
Okay.
That's
That's a thick mid plate.
a pretty good mid plate. I said, So what did you whittle off? So I ground half of it off the back, meaning the pilot that goes into the crank. Then the 3 pads I cut off. And then I went on the side that goes in the transmission. And I cut that down with a grinder. And then I ground 2 new notches in it to go into the pump.
No.
Yes.
Holy shit. No.
Yes. And he says, I don't know where I went wrong, but
I know
it's
everywhere.
not working.
You went everywhere wrong.
I said, well, the first thing you done wrong was, you went with a converter that was purpose built for a mid plate. Like our converters have screw on pilots and adapter kits. So with that said, I build every GM to the standard GM height, and then we have ground and machined pieces to take up that
Right.
space.
Right.
So this converter was purpose built for that mid plate. So there's nothing that you can just unscrew or do. So he's going hard at it. And I said, send me some pictures. So he does, and it's exactly what we would expect. I said, buddy, I don't know that I can do anything for you. So you guys know what an anti-ballooning plate is. So you have the hub, and the anti-balloon plate drops over the hub once it's welded on. So once you put that on, to carve that hub out and change it is not the easiest thing in the world to do. And you're really not getting the integrity of a balloon plate if you just do that.
Right.
So I told him, I said, look, bud, by the time we do all this, I built your converter. Really, I couldn't make enough money. I couldn't charge you enough to cover this work. He was mad, pissed. He sends me a shitty email, then calls me. He says, hey, this is so-and-so. And I talked to 30, 40 people before
This
launch.
is Joe.
Yeah. And I said, okay. He said, I guess you got enough work based on your Facebook posts that you don't need my business.
Yes.
Well, I didn't know I didn't know who it was, or I would have said that. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. Can you refresh my memory a little bit about the deal? He said, I'm the guy in New York that sent you the pictures of the converter my buddy gave me. And I said, dude, it's not that I don't want to do your business. There's nothing I can do for you.
Yeah.
Right. They're like you ruined it.
You ruined it. And
The
you ruined it
converter
at a
is
level
ruined.
that can't be fixed. And he says, well, I'm sure I can get somebody local to do it. I said, I wish you the best of luck, man.
Yeah.
I don't want no part of it. And so right up until this week, and probably going to stay for a while, that's the worst one ever. Somebody that took the time to grind it. Now the pads you can almost see knock off.
Yeah.
But the hub itself, like this is going in your transmission.
He just took the whole thing and just made it shorter.
Yeah.
Like he didn't move it one way. That's what he made it. It needs to stay in the transmission the same spot.
Right, and that's what I told him. I said, you accomplished nothing by cutting the hub shorter.
Yeah.
In fact,
Because it's still going into the same location, but now you're not driving the pump.
Right.
you just.
Yeah, if you'd have ground the pads down, that's fine. That's fair.
Yeah, you
But
pull
you
it.
got a machine.
Right.
Machine
Yeah,
the pads
yeah.
down.
No, he ground the
You
button.
ground
Yeah,
with
no, he
like
definitely got a Harbor Freight grinder.
Oh,
Yeah.
This dude has got the
Yep.
wheel of death, and he is going at it on his garage floor or a
100%.
5-gallon bucket.
100%.
And I can see this in my mind's eye. This guy.
I guarantee it was in an El Camino too, wasn't it?
I don't know. I was thinking, maybe
It's not
Fox
Fox
Mustang. 100%. One of the two.
He had to say it.
well, you know.
There's a third gen Camaro, an El Camino, or a Fox body. One of those three.
I just couldn't get over it, and I'm shaking my head, thinking, a phone call would have saved this guy's converter. At least I could have said, hey,
right.
don't do any of that.
Yeah.
Sell it.
Yeah.
Sell
We'll build
right,
you
yeah.
one.
Just
Right.
cut your losses, sell it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you probably could. Oh, I guess if it was purpose built, like you can't even machine the pads down enough, right?
You could if, depending on how they're attached in the pilot.
Yeah.
So a lot of times the pilots are solid.
Mhm.
You can machine them.
Yeah.
Depending on who built it, and what they used. Like in the old days, we used core. Like we didn't have billet, nothing.
Yeah, Vega converter. Right?
Yeah, we used Opal and Vegas.
5200 RPM, baby.
Slam it in, shim it till it feels good, and run it. And that. So back then you didn't have nothing to work with. Now the billet parts and everything's solid. You got, you might have a converter cover that's made to fit an LS, and if you're not going LS, you can cut it down to an LT. That's a half an inch,
Mm-hmm.
but it's solid, so you can do it. Yeah, that one and the Cummins guys that ripped the pads off the back of the converter because they're making 1,000 foot-pounds of torque,
Yeah, idle.
and they want you to weld them back on.
Just well.
Yeah.
Just weld them back on.
Yeah, there's 6 that bolted to the flex plate
That'll
on
be
the
fine.
Cummins,
That'll be fine.
and they rip them off. So right there tells you, let's go with a billet lid on that, solid.
Just weld them right back.
Can't you
on.
weld them back on, dude?
Get your
No.
flux core out.
Man, I just
send
bought
her
this
home,
new
buddy.
belt buckle.
Right. Yeah.
I
You
can't
got the
afford
money
to.
for that pocket tuner, but yeah, you ran out of money there, huh? We always say the budget usually ends at the firewall,
Yeah, it does.
and that's that's the struggle of the converter
Yeah,
guy's life.
I mean, I've been there.
No, I get it 100%.
I've put some expensive ass engine in my car and have no money for the exhaust.
And then shove the C4 behind.
Put the 2-inch exhaust back on it. Put my junkyard transmission bolted back to the stock stall.
Yeah. Should be
You guys
alright.
are at stock torque converter. James, by the way, my manager, he does this thing where he calls a torque converter a stall. So when he sells it, he sells to people that you were to a cam and we're gonna do a stall. And I said, a stall what? What are you stalling? Are you the car gonna stall? Are you stalling them to wait till they
Depends on what
bring
kind
it
of cam they
in?
put on it in my stall. Who knows?
Right.
It's a torque converter, James. It's a torque converter.
That's long-winded.
Long-winded, yeah.
You don't gotta say the full thing like.
Just,
you
just ask him if it's Visa or MasterCard.
Yeah,
there you
stall. I gotta get the stall.
How are you paying?
How you paying?
My favorite's the stall converter.
Stall
Yeah.
converter. Yeah, if it's tight enough, it will stall. We'll stall the motor.
Yeah, the science has come a little past that now, though.
Yes.
We're really into math now. So,
Good old math. You're not gonna get.
right.
How is your searching for employee? Have you had anybody apply?
Yeah, I shared your guys' post.
So we
Oh,
hired,
fine, one job.
we hired a guy full-time. He's been helping us out a little bit, but he came full-time this week.
Okay.
He's a machinist. That's what he does. He wants to spend a bunch of money and buy equipment. I'm like, no, we're not doing that right
Yeah, I
now.
don't need a partner. I need somebody to come
I
work.
need $250,000 because it would make this process take 10 seconds sooner.
Right,
Yeah, we're gonna
right.
make it take 10 seconds longer and keep
Right.
what we got.
Exactly. But, the thing about our equipment, a lot of it came with me from the old shop.
Yeah.
And torque converter stuff is purpose built. It ain't like,
mill.
I can buy this mill and it's gonna be, just put it on the floor and go. It's all jigged up, you gotta jig it up to do what you do, so, we wanna be doing, with a mill, we wanna do bell housings, cut bell housings off, mill the cases nice, do
Not
that.
just take a sawzall to it.
Right. The guy in New York with his wheel of death, I thought of hiring him.
Yeah.
He could get our converter height and do that.
He can come get the shit done cheap too.
Right. So, we got that guy. We need one more guy, in the shop full
Oh, we
time.
have another celebrity.
Oh man. My brother.
Did you ever met Bubba?
I don't think so.
How are you?
That's Bubba's
Surgeon.
perfect converter, and that's
Nice to meet
Surgeon
you.
from the Cleveland Injector Hospital.
Oh,
you see all over
nice.
the place.
Come on in. We're having a
We're doing a
podcast.
pod-
no,
you're
no,
you're
no,
on a
I have-
podcast.
Honestly, I'm a little starstruck right now.
I have
You,
warrants and
Billy,
stuff,
this
and
is
I
incredible.
can't be out like I have warrants and stuff. So
It's alright.
Get a shot.
Once you get your shit cleared up, we'll come in and come in and talk to you for a little bit.
How do they flow? Are they fucked up?
Good. I don't know. I didn't. I
Oh, they're
just
all
cleaned
good.
them,
Okay,
so.
cool. So that's not why.
I got the other
they're
ones
down.
working too.
Oh, the 210s?
Yeah.
You bring them?
So I did.
Alright, I'll pay
You
for
won't,
it.
you won't sell me no injectors yet, though.
I got inject. What do you need? I sell parts. Billy, Billy's
Dude,
been here. How many?
until 3 days ago, you had a carburetor on your car.
It
So
don't
I don't
care.
know.
It's-
Bro, I got a couple cars.
There's a
tell you,
lot going on with this
No,
guy.
I know.
dude.
I know. He sends me pictures of a grandma mobile. I'm like, yes.
He's got Grandpa Dave.
Billy
That's
is
the
literally
one we got cooking.
Been here probably 100 times in the last 10 years, and I don't think he's ever bought anything from me.
Oh, he's wanting a job. I told you how he
Yeah.
operates.
Just let him walk in the back and he'll start doing shit.
Yeah,
Now
just
he's coming up on my turf and trying to run other things like I run.
Surgeon's derailing this
Like
whole deal.
afternoon?
It's okay. We can edit it.
shit. I thought we were live. I'm like, God, I got a whole pocket full of cuss words I got to throw out as soon as I walk out of here.
We're not live. If shit gets real weird, we'll just start bleeping it. But
Yeah, right.
I'm not
Oh
too
no,
worried about
everything's
it.
staying. It's
Yeah.
going just like
It's
that.
just one
Yeah.
cut. That's it. There's no.
Yeah.
Is it weird at all that like when I said, hey, what time we doing this? Okay, 2 of you guys asked me if they should bring condoms.
I for sure didn't ask you that because I don't
Yeah, I'm going for
any.
Shit. I told him I'll bring some and I'm wearing one now, so I'm gonna be done.
This motherfucker showed up ready to go.
I said it.
Oh, that was a news.
Don't all say
Oh, shit.
What is that, cognac or what?
bourbon. Cognac.
Cognac.
Billy's a bourbon dude.
Cognac?
Listen, I'm gonna tell you.
I came for Liza because I had bourbon in the car, so I was like, well, I'm coming for Liza.
Yeah, and you
I was
do
like,
live right up the road now.
Oh yeah, so we're going to PRI, right? Billy gets, I pick him up, and we're in the van. We're driving down the road, and he's like,
Since it's a shit show.
"You want something to drink?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, I got water here in this." This motherfucker pulls out a bottle of bourbon and mixes himself a cocktail as we're going down the road.
It's called a road pop.
Oh yeah. Oh, he sets a whole bar up in the van. It's not a road pop.
Yeah. And he pulls his whiskey rocks out of his cooler. He's ready to go.
This guy's for real, man.
Yeah. Got the little satchel. Yeah.
So his official duties. One of them includes he's our travel agent now. He's in charge of entertainment while we're on the road.
Okay.
Mobile mixologist.
Mobile mixologist.
Very important.
Bartender, can I get some?
He sets our itinerary when we're on the traveling and all this stuff. Yeah, Billy's got a heavy load for a guy that ain't on the payroll.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, what? Not the pit, wait, no.
I thought I was just getting one big check.
No, he's just doing it.
It's alright. It's
Teachers
alright.
and hats.
Listen, we started building transmissions now, so.
Not C4s.
No, we
I can
No,
build those.
he's doing power glide now. Yeah, you definitely know what you're doing with C4s. You're blowing them up enough.
I see him over there by Logan a lot, like looking around. What's that? Where do you guys get down?
You gotta watch, because the next thing you know is we build these torque converters and transmissions. Motherfucker was a spy!
I'd kill you.
That's actually funny, because have you ever had anybody come in like, hey, you hiring? I would like to start my own transmission / torque converter shop one day.
Yeah. What's your dream? Well, I want to do what you do.
Yeah, I want to own, like I've had interviewed, like where do you see yourself? I'd like to own my own performance shop.
Oh, good. That's what I do.
That's exactly not what I'm looking for.
We'll call you, don't call us. Like,
Yeah.
That's alright, I have people do this shit too. Oh, where'd you get your machine? How do you do that?
Yeah.
you're competing against everybody with the $2.99 eBay
Right,
machine
oh, yeah.
now. We now flow and clean injectors.
Yep.
Right.
And they're all perfect. They all flow the same to the freaking CC. I'm like,
That's weird.
no, that's really weird. That's like ID doesn't even do that. But okay, like none of these companies do that. But your, $300 machine does that. That's weird. But
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that's fine.
Woods are full of them.
Yep.
Everybody wants to be the guy.
Well, dude, I mean, we see it with races. Like, you see people try to put on a race, like, oh, we can do that.
We can do that.
Try it.
Yes.
I'll bring my shit and
Anybody?
race in your race just to watch it happen.
Everybody drink Crown?
Yes, on a daily basis.
Yes. Look, I didn't know this was all getting ready to go.
I'll try some.
I
Good.
would have had Billy
You
bring.
walk in here, you're like, I already had my edibles, I'm good.
I would have had Billy bring the freaking van in.
When we were at 42, whatever you brought at 42, that stuff was actually really good. I don't remember what it was.
It was because, like, your level of anxiety was
Yeah, it was through the roof.
All right, I got
would've drank
another.
gasoline.
This is my life story here. Like, since we're talking this bullshit, so we're in Indy, and me and Billy decide, you know what? Let's go across the street. It just so happens we're staying right across the street from a church that was turned into a brewery.
That's happening a lot, actually.
Yeah.
A lot of places are doing that.
So we go in. It's a friggin' church, and all the brew kettles are up on the altar.
You gotta go pray to 'em.
It's really pretty cool. So we have a few drinks and a quick bite to eat. And there's a guy sitting beside us. So I just naturally start talking to people. I don't know why, but I'm not nice. So the dude's sitting there. We start talking. He's like, "What do you do?" I tell him, "Oh, that's interesting." Honestly, I forget. He was in the painting business, but what did they do? Do you even remember?
I don't even remember.
He owned a pretty good sized business, and we're talking about the same struggles, can't get no help, this and that. So he said, "Where are you guys headed?" I said, "We're going into town to St. Elmo's to have dinner." "I'll be driving right by there," because we were going to call an Uber.
Yeah.
And the dude's like, "I'll give you guys a ride."
Now the travel agent already had it queued up.
So I'm like, "Yeah, what the hell?"
Yeah.
If shit goes wrong, there's no way this guy's going to roll me a Billy together, unless he goes down an alley and there's 20 guys waiting.
Yeah.
I had all about $300 to my name, and I had it all with me. So there was that.
We're good.
So we get in the car, and I don't even know how this freaking conversation starts. Him and the dude start having a bourbon conversation. The guy whips out a receipt. He was at a bourbon place. He whips out his receipt and hands it to Billy so he can see what bottles he bought that day. And they start talking bourbon. I don't know what the hell the conversation is.
He had a Blanton's, like a small bottle of Blanton's,
Yeah.
like a 375, and I think he had an Angel's Envy and whatever. Like he found some like decent ones
Good bottles, yeah.
and for good prices too. So we were talking shit about the prices. I'm like, oh shit, man, we got $40 for this, man. That's
So
not-
I find out there's a whole underground world of bourbon traders.
Oh yeah, there's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah, there's like,
I learned that at Billy's one day, hammered.
yeah, there's like a bourbon enthusiasts that's like that's their thing. They
Oh,
trade
yeah.
bourbon, just like tennis shoes.
It's
and,
real.
Yeah.
So I let him educate me just enough.
Yeah.
I just want enough
Yeah.
so that I can rip his dinger off one day when there's nothing else to fuck with him about. So he comes in the other day and I'm like, you are not gonna believe this. He's like, what? I said, walked into Acme and picked up a fucking handle of Blanton's. He's like, where? I said, in LA. He's like, I believe it, man. He said that place gets them, man. He said there's people lined up over there to be like, it don't even hit the shelf, and he's going on. He's like, what'd you pay for it? I said, what'd I tell you, 80 bucks?
I don't know what
Some
did we say?
ridiculously low
But
price.
the bullshit ended right there.
And Village, no, I was good enough that he still was with me. Because I'm like, sell it. He's like, let me make a few calls. He said, I think you can double.
I think you can double.
100%.
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm just letting
So you get them on the phone as people, just watch them.
Oh yeah. Before he made a call, I had to break the
That
news
way,
to
that
him.
way you get what you did was you kept busy, so you could go get back to work, so you don't have to,
Yeah.
you don't have to talk the whole time. But
Oh yeah. So there we are again. This is our life. Yeah, I'll give you guys a ride. Before we know it, they have a common thing, and we're talking bourbon. I'm just riding along. All I cared about was getting the St. Elmo's and getting the steak. And
Good steak too.
I know, I feel like we wasted. We're not doing. We always do the steak, fuga de chow.
Yeah.
Every year we do that steak on the last year I've become a steak connoisseur. Like where I go, I pick up my meat, and I've purchased like Wagyu, and I try to
He's a
figure out how to cook
professional
different
meat
steaks.
selection.
Right.
So then when we went there this year, I'm like, this steak is shit.
Because now he has to go to
Yeah.
he has to go to the grocery store.
No, oh yeah, I mean in 2018, before the fucking scandemic, pandemic, fucking kung flu, whatever you want to call it, me and my wife went to Vegas for a little vacation, and we went to every single, I went to, every night we're having steak. We're going to go to the Capitol Grill, we're going to go to this place, we're going to try all, and I'm going to get steak, and I'm going to get shrimp cocktail from every place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, now you go to Longhorn, I'm like, I don't want this shit.
No.
This is like hamburger to me. Get trash, it's hot garbage, I don't want to hear it.
But you know what's cool is if you realize for $30 more,
Mm-hmm.
you can go to the Diamond Grill in Akron.
Yeah.
Versus what you just paid at Outback or Longhorn. Add $30 to that, and you can get a fantastic steak.
Yeah.
On Saturday night.
Yeah.
The Diamond,
Reservation.
nice.
Me and my
Shrimp cocktail.
we've been doing
Oh,
strip
yeah.
steakhouse has been our place. You had strip in Avon, it's good.
You guys are just way too bougie for me.
I was gonna say, I'm like, what do you guys sell drugs or like?
I don't know where you're getting your heroin supply, but I want some.
Everything at strip is good, and they do have Australian Wagyu, which isn't Japanese Wagyu, but it's Australian.
Australian regulars.
It's still very good,
Yeah.
and it's
It
actually
could be kangaroo. I don't know.
And it's
Kangaroo
it's
isn't
100% vaccinated.
But
Yeah, 100%.
But I mean, you have our Japanese Wagyu, a ribeye, like a 10-ounce ribeye is like $400.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Real shit. Like,
Billy, give me one of them waters, please.
but they have Australian, which is really really good steak, and you get they have their tomahawk. They have a 36-ounce tomahawk
I'm just like
Australian
refilling
Wagyu for $89.
That ain't bad.
That is not bad.
No.
That ain't bad at all. That ain't bad. Was it good though?
Yes, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I've never had a bad meal there.
What kind of drugs you guys sell again?
But I would recommend it's for the money, for the quality.
Just gonna separate myself.
Yeah, I go shopping at Aldi's and shit. That's
Not bad.
I also
Y'all
shop,
got too much
I
money
also
for
shop
me to
all
be in this
So
conversation.
what happens is when you work 18 hours a day, you don't have time to cook your steak at home. So yeah, you
Well,
get
You
that
want
one.
some good- want some good steak somewhere
I
else?
don't
I
care.
work 20 hours a day.
And I'll
and
fair
I
this,
still cook
all
that
these
steak,
steaks are Black Angus, and actually really good.
All these?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Real
it's
bad.
black. It's black. No, I'm telling you. Like
No,
I would
legit.
put all these
All
ribeye
I meal
up against
prep,
any
all my
bullshit.
meal
You get a
prep
giant
meat.
eagle. I
If I
honestly
can,
would.
if I can, I'll buy all my meal prep meat from Aldi.
No shit.
Yes,
huh?
I
It's
think
good.
all these
It's
all hormone free.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Free
they
all
have.
Well,
they-
they're a German-owned company, so like all their food is based off of what their regulations are over there, and they won't let you put like half the like bullshit that's in American food.
Right.
They won't let you put
Their
that in
meat
the
is
food. in
actually
Germany.
really
It is.
good.
Yeah.
This
And-
is actually legit. This
and
video
they
is sponsored
sell-
by Aldi.
Yeah, 100% Aldi.
Yeah.
My race car needs finished. If y'all want to sponsor it,
Aldi sells.
I'll rat that
They're right down
This
there.
is fake, believe it.
Aldi sells Thomas Farm, which so does Giant Eagle.
Yeah.
It's grass-fed meat.
Mhm.
Aldi sells their ribeyes and strip steaks for $11.99 a pound.
Yep.
You go to Aldi's, it's $22 a pound.
You mean Giant Eagle?
Giant Eagle,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
$22 a pound.
You just
Yeah.
did half of a.
How about crab? How about crab?
He's gone.
Hammered.
No idea what he's
How
talking
about
about.
king crab legs? You see what they were?
$75 a pound.
$70 a pound.
No, thank you.
Nah,
Right?
I'll get that fake shit.
Yeah, I'll
It'll be
get
just as good.
Yeah.
Give it an imitation.
Yeah.
I'll take a little.
All right, let's go back on track.
Hey, I just want to go back to 2019 when I beat you.
Oh my god, yeah, because I thought your shit was shut off.
Yeah,
And I
I
shut
thought
my-
so too.
Was that the pedal?
Hey, I just
No,
want to know.
that's second round. That was first round.
Oh,
Second
my
round, I went through my own water.
Yeah.
Traction
Well,
control actually kicked in.
I'm
and I
at
fucking rolled
half
around
track.
him.
I'm at half track. Well, hold on a second.
That's when he learned about turbos.
Here we go.
So I'm at half track. I'm at half track, and I look back, and it looks like his headlights are sitting on the starting line.
Yeah, they
And
were-
I'm like, oh, well, no sense in killing it. So I start shutting switches off.
switch.
And then all of a sudden I hear, and I'm like, oh crap! I jump back on the throttle, and it's got no timing in the motor,
It's too
all
late
the
now.
fuel,
Yeah.
and it's just like.
It's too late now. Them turbos are working.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
gone.
That's it. I was already on the choo-choo, freight train, motherfucker, coming around you.
The 10-second turbo light saved the
And I
day.
100% absolutely learned my lesson that
Yes.
day,
Yeah.
which is don't give up on
No.
a turbo car.
No, back half's where we live.
And
Because we can't do shit.
regardless of what's happening. But however, that is also what got me into the situation I was in when I was backwards.
Never lifting.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I got 20 more feet. I could stab it one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Even
got to
though
the-
I'm already 40 degrees off.
It got to the point where I'm like, yep, Billy's up. This is gonna be interesting. And every single time it's interesting. Every single time.
Oh yeah.
Every single time.
Even when you rewatch the videos from 3 years ago,
You
they're
are a
still
racer
interesting.
for the spectators. I'll tell you that right
Yeah,
now. Like
100%.
you are the one. Like you are. Like you're a
100%.
spectator favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, how about at MPK? Couldn't get the thing to go down the back half of the track, but the first half of the track it wanted to flip over.
Yeah. I'm blaming that on your converter builder.
Yeah, definitely, 100% convertible.
That was when I
100%
called him.
Oh yeah, I am too, because the other guy had him on the bumper and then nothing to happen afterwards. He came to us.
That was literally. I'm not even joking. That was literally when I called him.
That is a
Like,
fact.
help me, please.
Help me, Jesus.
He said,
Yeah.
you gotta get me off the bumper, dude.
Yeah, yeah. It's good for pictures and videos. It's not good.
It's not good for racing. No, not when you're racing
Great
Boost
for
12.
videos.
Yeah, ask Batdorf about how great it is for a car.
Tony
No.
McKinney, Boost 12, like you're not winning those races unless you're on the ground.
Yeah.
The first stint I put my wife through training was like when we first started dating. I'm like, we're going to the track, and I have 3 races in a row. I had at that point, this was in 14 or 15 when we started dating. I had a Mopar race. Then we had War at the Shore, which was like such a fucking awesome race.
Yeah.
I wish
Oh, yeah.
I would bring that back.
I know.
That
That
was
was awesome.
like that class with this cruise.
Yeah.
That was
Everything
the
about
shit,
it.
man. That
Yeah.
was the 5,000. That was the shit. So,
Crystal, if you
Crystal,
watch this,
yes, please bring that back. Please.
we're all here to help.
100% on
TKO,
board.
War at the
100% on
Shore,
board.
whatever you want to call it. Bring that race
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
I'll sponsor something, and so
Yeah.
Bubba, I'm sure. Maybe.
Oh, absolutely. Just one a year would be great, right
Yes.
there.
Yep.
Make it all happen.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So it was that race, and then it was another race. There's 3 races in a
We can
row.
make it happen.
First race was the Mopar race. First Mopar race, I put it on the bumper at Norwalk, like so hard. Like, I changed nothing other than this is when I started learning about ballast weight. is I made a really clean pass, made like a 520 pass, everything was all good, like qualified number 2 or something like that. And I changed nothing other than I just put ice in the intercooler tank. But I took a 28-pound bag of ice and I dumped it in the intercooler tank, shut the cap, put 5 gallons of fuel in it, let's go. Same tune-up, same everything. Put it like it rolled, and I'm like this. And at this point, I'm kind of pissed off, so I'm just gonna stay in it and just drive through this bitch. It went up so far it hit the parachute mount, and when it hit the parachute mount, it just slammed down. It was like I took my car from 12 feet in the air and just dropped it.
Yeah.
It like trans pan, oil pan, front K member, both control arms were bent. The frame was tweaked. Like it was like. The car was just like this.
Hella flush.
But hella flush.
Space Nation.
First time she sees that, she's like, "What the fuck did I just?" She doesn't know about rape. Like she's like, "What?" My dad looks at her, is like, "He was just trying to impress you." And like, with like dressed up, my wife starts crying. She thought he was serious. She's like, "Oh my god, did it that bad?" And I'm like, "No, this is fun. This is fun, right? Right? This is fun."
Tear it all apart tomorrow. You're really gonna.
I'm like,
see
"I'm
fun.
gonna race next week. Are you done for the?" No, I'm not done for the. I'm like, no.
I'm done for the evening. We gotta get this shit fixed.
I'm gonna take this credit.
Load up.
I'm gonna take this credit card that has some left in it, and I'm gonna go ahead and buy all these parts. And like, I'm gonna and then I'm gonna be in the shop all weekend fixing it. All weekend I got it ready for the next one, just for like whatever bug just to work. Is that like electrical problem? Like half the motor decided it didn't want to work it, and that was at the War by the Shore, and I spent all night. Like it was 2 days. It was like one day of testing, the next day was all night. It was like 11 o'clock at night. I'm trying to figure out why does it work sometimes it doesn't. Motherfucking it, screaming. She's handing me tools. And then the next day we go out. I think I went a couple rounds in it. I qualified number 5 in that race, which was pretty awesome. And it was like probably the best memory I have. Well, I don't want to say the best. We've done a lot of stuff, so don't get mad at me. But it was like one of the most memorable memories. Is when we were driving on the cruise. She was in my passenger seat, and it was just cool. I thought that was pretty cool. You know, we did the whole cruise, and she was checking my numbers. I checked at my little dash. I'm like, watch the coolant temp, watch the oil pressure for me while I'm driving, and she's checking and telling me what my numbers are. And we got through, and then I went a couple rounds, and I just barely out of the money. Got beat by Bill Daiuto, I remember that. And then the next weekend was another Mopar race that I ended up winning. I ended up winning some money, and we got to take the picture in the winner's circle. But she's like, my mom called and says I shouldn't go anymore because I'm bad luck. She's Syrian, so mom is superstitious, and she's like, my mom says I shouldn't go anymore. I just started laughing, and I'm like, no, this is normal.
Yeah.
And
ever since I went the first time, I started cussing a lot.
Yeah, this is normal. I'm like, no, this is normal. This is fun, right?
Yeah.
This is
you
fun.
see me screaming and throwing shit,
screaming,
breaking shit.
Like,
this is what we call fun.
$4,000 worth of damage. No, this is fun,
Great
right?
times. Great
Yeah,
times.
this is what I did.
And all them people came by and said, that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. My buddy Jimmy, my best friend Jimmy's like, I know that you just broke a bunch of shit, but that was worth every penny to get that picture. And I do.
Shit look cool on Instagram. That's all I do.
Oh yeah, it was. So I got that out of my system. I got the wheelies out of my system. So I got the big money on shocks. I won't have that problem anymore. I hope.
See, I did the exact opposite. I couldn't get my car to wheelie, and then it just started carrying the wheel a few inches off the ground through the 60 foot. And I'm like, all right, that's exactly what I want the car to do.
Right.
But I don't have a good picture, so can we just put?
You don't have enough air pressure in your tire.
Yeah, well, I worked on that for a while. I think we figured it out, and then I blew the car up. So.
100% race brake picture.
There's that.
So you've had fun, right?
Race brake
Yeah,
picture.
it was
We're
worth
just on the repeat part. That's all.
Your tuner blew.
Yeah, my tuner definitely blew the car up.
It's always.
He's a fucking asshole anyway.
Yeah,
Fuck
it is.
him.
Is there some kind of warranty on the tune?
There's no warranty on the tune.
Absolutely not.
And
Absolutely not. However, he did text me the other day out of the blue, and he's like, "Did you figure out what you hurt in your motor?" I'm like, "Since when do you give a fuck?"
he's like, do you figure out what you hurt in the motor? Is that what you mean?
I literally texted him back. I said, "I haven't even taken it out of the trailer yet."
You
No,
mean
I
he
have
didn't
no
even
idea.
just send you pictures at 2 a.m.
I get it, yeah.
Grenaded piston or something?
Yeah.
All we knew is that there was oil coming through the breather.
Yeah, there is a lot
I mean,
of shit
I don't
in my
know
oil
if
that's not supposed to be in
100%
my
that
oil.
motor was 100% happy.
No, it was definitely
ever,
dog shit the whole time.
Ever,
so.
it's just always never,
Let's make 4 digits on a motor that really doesn't work good.
Yeah, it shouldn't do that, but we did it. We hit your ET goal. We got it.
We went
some
faster
data.
every pass.
Yeah.
That's
just-
that was my goal.
And straighter every pass.
And straight over
Yeah.
pass, yeah. And honestly, the car didn't do anything crazy. It didn't wheelie hard. It didn't.
Alright.
We made the car work. It just
Oh, it was because of the converter that was in the car.
100% and the tuner,
100%
converter and the tuner.
Both
Big shout out to Perfect Converter and Big 3 Racing.
Yeah, both guys assholes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Both of them
They
are
both,
assholes.
they both blew my shit up.
The cool thing is,
I'll be waiting for those sponsor checks. It's early in the year.
Where's my sponsorship money?
I'm glad,
My sponsorship
I'm glad
money.
we knocked that sponsorship part of this out early,
Yeah.
so we got that off the
Yeah,
table.
got that off the table. So before we get a bunch of emails like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm building a no prep car to race no prep scene,
I'll
and
do that.
I'm
Listen,
gonna edit this all so it sounds like you guys are really willing to sponsor cars.
yes, yes, please send
it's gonna be like the
emails.
dude that does the Rogan videos and like cuts them all together to sound
I'm
like
gonna
he's
leave
doing
our
it.
sponsor packets here at Big 3 Racing. You can stop by and get them. Just ask for Rick by name.
100%.
Speaking of, I got that cam card.
All right. So Billy sold a converter tonight.
Oh, how much commission did you make?
Nothing.
Good.
0 dollars.
Negative money. It actually
Yeah.
took out of my sponsorship to sell this
We
guy
got-
the converter.
We're still trying to recoup our
That's
friggin'
not-
PRI.
Yeah, we went to St. Elmo's 2 nights in a row.
Oh God, the only thing I got from PRI was COVID.
Well, we may have given it to you.
We all got COVID when we got back from PRI. I'm like, I'm not really feeling that good. Must just be a cold.
We almost killed Chris Lane.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
I know.
Quite a few got dusted.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
tell you that right
Chris,
I-
Chris,
you know-
Chris, fortunately
And-
pulled through. He's good,
and
but
I'm
he
glad.
tried to kick the bucket.
Yeah,
And I'm
well, I
glad-
had it. Well, I had it. I'm looking at pictures of him online on auction. I'm like,
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking die.
Yeah, so real talk, we are all 100% glad that Chris did not succumb to
Yes.
that.
And that was
Chris.
as soon as he said he was going to the hospital, I'm like, fuck.
Right, because it seems surreal
Yeah.
until somebody actually goes to the hospital.
Oh, I'll tell you, like-
Well, my wife's mom spent last Christmas in the hospital,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she damn near didn't make it. Like she was on a lot of oxygen. Like it was bad.
Oh, I thought that shit's real. Like,
And as soon as Chris went, I'm like, dude, this is not what I need.
That's
Like,
like-
this is not what Chris needs. Obviously, but like.
So here's my fat guy. Here's my fat guy COVID story. Woke up with no taste or smell. I'm like, this ain't good for a fat dude.
No.
I gotta taste my food.
And make sure your ass
So-
don't stink.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
important stuff.
You know how
you
you
smell like
right?
shit. I don't know. That's not me.
You got anything to eat? So
Yeah.
anyhow,
Like spicy, I hope.
here I am. 5 days I can't taste nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm driving up the road one Friday afternoon. I went to the bank and I'm coming through Northfield, and I smelled the McDonald's fries. I'm like, thank you.
Lord,
Oh yeah, baby, we're back in business. Thank you, Jesus.
I whip into Sunoco in Northfield, grab a Hershey almond,
Yeah.
rip that motherfucker open right in the building. I eat it, and the dude's looking at me.
I taste again.
I'm like,
Just got over the Rona, man.
he's like, what's up, dude? I said, I can taste it. He's like, well, you been sick? I said, I ain't had no smell or taste for about a week. You motherfucker, you come in there every day.
I said I had no taste. That's why I come in here. Fucking bullshit ass place.
Yeah, he laid into me pretty good. Yeah, that was all I had. Son-in-law was in the hospital for a week on oxygen. Never made the vent.
That event.
It's just that's
you go
the
on
crazy
vent,
thing.
You're fucking done.
We were just Steve and I were just talking about it on the way up here. It's like some people get it and they almost die.
Yep.
Other people get it and have no idea they had it.
Right.
So like, there's no rhyme or reason to this.
No
and
one
like,
knows. It's,
Well, like for me, if I did, like my son plays basketball, and I was like, well, I gotta take him to practice. I'm like, let me just test myself, just
Yeah.
to be sure, because I don't
Sure.
want to go with, there's 12 kids,
Yeah.
parents, everything.
Parents and
Like,
everybody.
I'm not
yeah,
gonna, So I was like, oh, let me test myself. I test positive. I'm like, motherfuck. I'm
Right.
like,
well, you had slight symptoms, didn't you?
I had but I always get headaches. Like
Yeah,
I always get headaches.
yeah,
So it's like
that's-
to me, I was like, yeah. But like my wife, she had the chills and
Mhm.
I
she
had,
had
I had
the
the
fever. and
chills.
everything. I had nothing.
Like a 99. I got 100 up was my worst, and
Yeah.
but I felt like one day I felt like I hit by a train. Like I was so sore and tired.
Yeah.
I
Did
just
you
slept for 2 days.
Did you get lower back pain?
Everything
Dude, I had
hurt.
horrible lower back pain, dude.
Yeah.
Heating patches and heating blankets is what got
See,
me.
everybody that I've talked to that's had it and that actually had like real symptoms said it was like a real bad flu for a minute.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like
But
flu
see, that's the
body
thing.
aches
It
and
could be,
stuff,
it could be the flu, unless you get like the actual, was it PCR test or whatever?
Yeah.
You don't know because at home tests they're not actually testing for the virus,
Right.
so you don't
They're
know.
testing
if
for
you-
the damage that the virus causes.
Yeah, but you could get that from the flu too.
Right.
Right.
I ain't
So-
getting the test, so I'm gonna tell you.
Mm.
But you can get the antibody test
Right.
and
Find out if you had it or not.
My daughter works in a salon, So they made her get an antibody test like a year ago.
Yeah.
She had it.
Yeah.
That's all she found out. That's all the antibody test told her.
And
Right.
she
Yeah.
had it at one point.
She had it. So
She
she
should be
calls.
immune.
She calls.
Yeah, but it doesn't
What are we supposed to
necessarily
do? Yeah, it don't mean. So she ended up getting vaxxed too because she's around 20 different people a day.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know. she's-
Here's my thing, and like, and you know, it is what it is, and whatever. But like, I've never got a flu shot since I've been an adult. I'll take the chances of getting sick. I had pneumonia when I was a little kid. I'll take the chances of getting pneumonia. Like, if I've already got COVID, what's it matter?
Yeah, but it
If I
doesn't.
haven't, then
Yeah, but not
I'm just
like
lucky and
like
I'm
Rick
going-
was saying, the guy that was supposed to start, he had it
Yeah.
early in the year,
yeah,
and then he got hit second time,
yeah,
ended up, you know.
right.
Pass-
making
Well, we
it.
don't really know if we haven't had it the first time. You know,
Right.
they said like
You don't
there's
know.
there's so many unknowns with
We don't
this
know
that,
shit.
like,
I will tell you one thing.
Okay, fine.
COVID fucked up the supply chain horribly. So
Yeah.
if that was what they were
that
trying to
is
do, it
true.
worked.
yeah,
Our
so
government's all
congratulations.
But is it
Lizard people.
COVID or is it that boat getting stuck in Egypt?
who knows?
That helped.
Who knows?
There's
Yeah, it's everything.
It was
'Cause
a multi fucking actually from multiple.
yeah, we took it in
angles.
every
Yeah.
orifice.
I
Every
mean,
We
fucking
ordered
orifice.
No
for
loop.
the Honda. We ordered a part from Malaysia because that's where the company is. Can't remember the name of it.
And it was
And-
on that boat that got stuck in the canal.
3 days later, we got it. 3 days later, from Malaysia to here.
But we can't get
But we
You can't get fucking
Can't
yogurt
get
at the
anything else.
grocery store.
real orange juice. Like, I don't like concentrate.
Well, no.
I want the
disgusting.
real shit, simply orange. That's my go-to. 3 stores on Sunday, could not find
No,
the shit.
no, man, you'll go through the aisles and there's shit blank. They're
Yeah.
we're America.
Crazy.
Hey, you know what? At least we're not in Australia.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Western Australia specifically.
Well, yeah.
That's where they're really getting the dick. They're in like concentration camps over there.
25 years
You
ago,
know,
they gave
North
up their
Korea.
guns.
Could be worse.
And
We
now,
ain't gonna do that.
No,
shit.
We're
Give
not
it time.
doing
Give it
that.
time.
No.
I bet you they try.
they're gonna try.
This
They try
country's
all
way
they
too
want.
big to do. There's way too many people. I mean, coming from a country where they did that.
Right. Right.
Like, this country is way too big and there's way too many people that were like,
No.
no,
Yeah.
not gonna happen.
All right, what's next?
All right.
Seriously went off.
Go to the.
I mean, we kind of anticipated it just falling the fuck apart. So
You
I'm
watch
surprised
it-
it made it this far.
Well, I knew we were
Just the
fucked when
bourbon
the crown came
and
out.
it's like, okay.
Yeah, here we go.
Here's a question for you. This in the past
Probably
year,
me.
so 2021. What was the most ridiculous shit that you had to deal with here?
Probably that Corvette with the towels in the
Yeah.
cooler.
Who is that?
What about the dude's car? The dude's car that somebody spotted on a U-Haul trailer somewhere. And
Oh,
that
oh
was
my
all-
God.
Oh, yeah.
It's here.
That
He's here
was me.
today.
I was gonna say something.
was
I feel I feel
The
half
car's
bad on that.
No, I don't. I absolutely don't.
So he.
Would he have squared up with you if you didn't do
I
this?
don't know.
It was a
Listen,
crazy situation.
Dad
Like, it
pulled
was-
the money out of the account. He said, "Motherfucker, you're not going to the store. No money for you, buddy.
No car.
No car for you." And he was like, "Fuck, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm here for like another 4 months. I gotta get money. I'm not gonna pay rent."
Like most every time I talked to him, he was cool. He wanted, and I understand how the culture works. Like they want to break your balls on price, and like
Of course.
I get that. My wife and her family, they're Syrian, they're Middle Eastern. They warned me how that works. Okay, so I get it. He
It's
brought
not
the
different
car
as
in.
but I promise.
Other than him not like
100, I get 20.
we gave him a price. He brought a deposit for the motor. We ordered the motor. When the motor came in, like we said we would, it was late like everything else was, and he was in a hurry, and I had to
Yeah.
explain to him like, dude.
Was this the fire vet? The oil
Yeah.
pan don't clear the
Yes.
crank and shit?
Yeah, so we put it in. There's some extra work that we found, which I told him all about. And he come, we gave him the bills more than he thought, which is always is. And he wrote a check, and I was at home with the Kung Flu, and Chuck with the check, and then it bounced. And
Car's gone.
car's gone, $9,333 check.
Also, the part that you're forgetting to put
2
in
days
is the
before
fact
Christmas.
that his cell phone was turned off. at
His
the
cell
time.
phone, his
Yeah,
cell phone,
That's what escalated.
yeah, his cell phone did not
He
work.
got totally cut
That's what
off.
escalated.
His cell phone did. We tried getting hold of him. We tried getting a hold of him. We tried calling. We tried calling to tell him his car was done. His phone didn't work. We reached out to Mike Slovey that works here, like goes to Tri-C for auto, and is in class with one of his buddies. And he
Shout out
reached
slowly.
shout out to Slovey, reached out to his dude and said, "Hey, your buddy's car's done. His phone doesn't work. Do you want to let him know?" And then he came in 2 days later and said, "Hey, your car's done. You know, it's gonna be it's already on the dyno. We tried getting a hold of you. Your phone didn't work. Okay, cool. We'll be ready to pick up tomorrow, whatever. He comes, gives a check, and he drives away. He wrote the check. The check was written for the right amount. He didn't try like beating us up. That check bounces.
Here's my thing: is if his phone was already shut off,
Right.
he already knew Daddy cut him off. So why'd he write you a check?
So I mean, he wrote
Obviously
a check
to
for
get his
the
car
Get
and
his car,
get the
right?
fuck
Right.
out of here.
Exactly.
Like, what
so,
are you gonna do? Oh, here's my car. Like, I'm not.
So I'd give it a solid week of trying to get and what I did is like obviously his phone didn't work.
Yeah.
Reached out to him through his buddy, and he said, "Hey, like they're calling the cops, dude. This is like a felony. This is a big
Yeah.
deal for him to get a hold of them.
Right.
Like, this isn't like a little amount." And he said, "I messaged him. I called him. You know what I mean." He said he relayed all the information to him. He can't get a hold of him, but he, whatever. Okay. So I waited. I don't want to put out a post like that. So I put that post. I put out a screenshot. I messaged him and I said, "Hey, your check bounced." Like, I called the police right away. I filled out the paperwork to give him the 10 days to get it paid. Like all this other stuff. And this time I don't hear nothing from him. I shit you not. I was at home sick that last day, and I was fine. But I was my last day of fucking lockdown or quarantine or whatever the fuck, and I'm on the internet and I put a post that says, "Hey, that got shared 1,300 times."
Oh yeah.
That picture of him, and I had undercover cops calling me. I have that dude's social security number. I have his credit report. I know
Wait,
blood
type,
type, its own name
everything.
car. I've had you didn't hear this information from me. I had what really came down to is there's I'm not gonna give anybody his name. He was in one of my classes. You know, when you talk to somebody and like, you talk to somebody, they're full of shit,
Right.
and they're not full of shit.
Yeah.
This is one of those that I talked to him, like, he's not full of shit. He was in the military for 15 years, and the shit he's saying is probably true,
This
because
dude does bad shit.
he's nonchalant
He's
about
seen
it.
some
Yeah.
shit.
He's nonchalant about it, and he says, "I will secure your asset." That's what he said to me.
That's
I
some
go-
real shit.
And I
Secure your
said,
asset.
there's
He
$1,000
said,
reward if this car's back, if anybody gets over this $500 reward, $1,000 reward if the car shows back up to me. And he's like, he sends me a picture with all these addresses and everything with a 9mm sitting right there next to it. And he's like, "I'm in front of his house." And I'm like, it's like midnight, 1 in the morning. He's like, "This is his apartment, this is where the car's parked." He's like, "He's not here, he's in California," which he was. He said, "I talked to his aunt, I got a hold of his family in Kuwait, and I talked to his roommates. He knows that it's an issue right now." And I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning with a message from the dude. Now, I don't know if this is all coincidence, because he also posted on the page, because I probably got back to him, like, "Hey, I'm not a thief," blah, blah, blah.
Right.
He says, "Hey, I'm not a thief. There was a holiday in Kuwait, so it took an extra day for the money transfer to go by. I didn't realize that,
Yeah.
And from then, he kept contact with me, and I says, "Dude, I need to get this taken care of. I need to do a cash transfer." He's like, "Just rerun the check." And I'm like, "I don't have the check. The bank kept
Right.
it."
No, we don't get them no
Well,
more.
a legal copy does come back in the mail, and a legal copy
Yeah.
came back in the mail, and I drove to his bank, to the PNC, and I said, "Is this check good?" And they can't tell you anything, but they said I wouldn't deposit this. I mean, hey, they said this check's not good. He's like, "Let me," and he said, then he sent me a screenshot of his bank account with money in it. He said, "Put the check through. It's gonna be good." And I put the check through, and it was good. So
That's all you can ask.
he had an issue. He called me,
Yeah.
and I said, "Bring the car in. We'll take care of it." There was a check engine light for an O2 sensor or something like that, and I said, "Drop it off. It's here." And I'm like, I'm not gonna hey, I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt. Like,
Shit happens.
I spent a week trying to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
Whether or not you being in California, you didn't know, or maybe that $10,000 just isn't a big of amount to you. That you just didn't notice it not out of your account or whatever
Right.
the situation is. But you did take care of it. He was respectful about it. So I don't want to sit there and blast the dude and
No.
all this other stuff. I hate that I had to go to that.
Yeah.
Right.
That
And,
just seems.
and I can't tell you that whether or not all that happened, and I was told, and I don't know, I didn't confirm whether people said they talked to his family in Kuwait and all this. I don't know if that's true or not, but whether or not how that worked out or not,
Yeah.
he's been respectful every time he's came in. We talked about doing a supercharger on the car after and I will do business with him again.
Yeah.
But I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt on that. But I'll tell you right now, we don't have multiple millions or thousands or hundreds of
No.
$9,300 2 days before Christmas.
That's a huge
It's a big
hit.
deal. Yeah.
That hurt.
So,
Yeah.
did he get the reward?
No, I offered it to him. I did offer it to him.
No.
Dude, yes.
The guy that was his car.
No.
He brought the car to you,
Yes.
so he should have got at least 500, right?
No, I'm not. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, just split it up between us.
Yeah. We'll buy a bottle of bourbon.
I'm down.
I say we go
Billy
load
pick
up
out.
and go down the Diamond with him on Saturday, see if they can get a few extra
I can
chairs.
try to
Yeah.
add a couple more people to it. Let me know.
I like
Yeah.
it.
I can see what
I
I
like
can do.
Yes.
No, I wasn't actually shitting on the dude. I'm just
No,
saying that,
I mean, like,
that was the most ridiculous
that-
story that's happened
That was
recently.
It was
that was.
wild.
I had 100.
It was a lot.
When
I-
I took the check, I was kind of like, I'm like,
I had a.
man, I'm like, he didn't beat me up on the price. This is weird.
Yeah.
I had my
Yeah.
phone fast charges on the charger. I had to charge my phone 3 times that day. And I'm like taking care of my twins at
Daddy.
home and feeding them, and my phone, like I had 100 messages from random people.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, his bank teller messaged me, like I'm his bank teller. He comes into my bank.
The
I think
fuck?
what was crazy is when the car was on the move, like, it's
Yeah.
on a U-Haul.
I said, what? That wasn't even the car either.
I'm
That wasn't the car.
I'm at home. I got COVID, right?
There just so
I'm
happens
looking
to
for
be
something to do,
another.
so I'm gonna go right past the addresses I got on file for him. Rick's like, yo, he's on 71 near Mansfield. Fuck, hop in the truck. I'm driving
On my
down
way.
71 to show
Yeah.
I'm on the way.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I don't see him. I don't want to drive, an hour
Yeah.
out of town. He's like, yeah, no, it's not. I'm like, all right, I'll just come back.
JK.
Well, I text Rick. I'm like, if you need me to go get this dude's rig,
Dude,
like,
I had
I'll go
people-
get
I
it.
had
Like, I can
people
pull
chasing-
it on my truck.
I'm gonna
There
need
was
that
a
20
U-Haul
bucks
with
of
a
gas.
little red C7 on it that wasn't his. It wasn't his.
What are
And
the odds?
people were chasing it down, trying to get the number off of it because I had a guy at U-Haul that says if you could give me the trailer number, I could tell you who. And they looked up, like he brought it on a U-Haul truck and trailer when he
Yeah.
dropped the car off, and
Yeah.
they said he did run a U-Haul at this time, but he does not have one
Did
out
the
right
car
now.
actually go to California or no? It
No.
stayed here.
No, it stayed here.
Oh, so that was.
He was just on vacation in California, like.
And the car was still here.
The car, like from what I understand,
Okay.
you know. Again, and I'm not trying to bash a dude.
No,
Like,
no,
it could
absolutely
have
not.
been.
That's
know-
where, like, stuff like that, you guys, and I mean,
I
that's
did
just
not-
from my point of view, like, I would not take checks, because I know how checks easy it
You
is
can't
to
release the
cancel
car
them.
until the check.
But not only that, I would just say, you know what, do a wire transfer. I don't care if it's
Yeah.
extra 25,
I mean-
$30 or whatever.
Send
If-
it,
For
yeah.
the amount of money,
To secure the shit.
it's,
In 15
I'm sorry,
years that we've been in
either-
business, 15 years that we've been in business,
Right.
I've had probably 2 other checks bounced, and they're for a couple $100, and the people came and fixed it. Like
And
that was.
it
right,
some
right,
dumb
but
shit,
it's
yeah.
just, you know,
But-
like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
Right.
and
A
honestly,
couple $100 is different than.
and his first check
10
was
grand.
was a certified bank. Yeah, and we won't anymore. Like unless it's like we actually know.
Yeah, if it's me writing you a check, like, you're not going to be like, oh, you're not going to pay me.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're not taking checks.
But after
Well,
now, it's like okay, if you have to
I get
write a
it.
check, your car stays here until it clears the
Right.
bank
Yeah,
account.
absolutely.
Like I'm sorry, but
Absolutely.
especially, I mean, I'm not gonna like front over $500 or $600 or $1,000, like, but
No, but like,
Or-
Or,
Several
10
grand.
or the other
G's,
thing
like,
is
come
go
on.
get a cashier's check because
Right.
those
Exactly.
they can't be.
They
Right.
can't, yeah.
Right.
The
So-
thing
or if
is,
you're going to go to that extent, just go take the cash out. Like, it was
Right.
under $10,000.
Yeah, but see, the problem
just
with that is it's hard to take out $10,000 unless you have to like give the bank time.
You have to be
Yeah.
under 10.
Hey,
if you go
I
under
had-
9,200, they'll let you.
I
Which
took
is
out
bullshit by itself.
$30,000 in cash one time.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible, but a lot of banks,
Knowledge
like, I've
bomb.
done that.
You're on the
They're
fence.
gonna be
There's
like,
a loan.
yeah, can't hide
I
money.
was
You're-
buying a car out of state, so I
You're-
wouldn't do a loan
you're-
for
you're
an
on the
out-of-state
fence.
car.
I'll tell you what we
It's
do.
fine.
We take a
I had
deposit. I
deposit
don't
money
care
back
how
in
you
the
give it
bank.
to me.
Yeah.
But I do not take
$10,000
personal
increments.
checks.
Yep.
You can give me a credit card, debit card, cash,
PayPal.
anything
Show
of
me your
that
titties.
nature.
Venmo,
Yeah, but I don't
OnlyFans.
take
You
personal.
take OnlyFans or no?
Yeah, oh yeah, hell yeah.
Bitcoin.
Oh
You
yeah.
take Dogecoin.
Hey,
No,
It's still questionable.
I
get
missed
it, but-
on it, and then I bought at Sheba and got my
I'm,
pants
let's
tore
not
off.
talk,
I'm
let's
telling
not
you
talk
right-
about that.
I'm
I'm
telling you
still
right
up on
now,
Doge right now. 'cause I'm
buy
not rookie.
XRP. Buy XRP.
Yeah.
Alright, this is listen.
Let's
I'm
Let's not
tell you
get
what I'm
into
gonna
this.
do.
Let's
doing
not.
it right now.
I'm investing into my business. I
I'll
ain't
tell you,
buying
XRP is
shit.
gonna make me a millionaire the next year.
Good.
If not,
Look.
then I'm out a little bit of money, but
Heroin can make you a billionaire.
That yes.
I mean,
100%.
you know what I mean?
This
Like,
man's always right.
I tried
everybody
that.
sells
Never steered me
drugs
wrong.
gets caught. Everybody
Never.
that sells drugs eventually gets caught.
Well,
yeah,
You're not wrong.
I feel like we got a drug to sell people.
we do.
Everybody needs a
Horsepower.
torque
Oh
converter.
my, yes.
Everybody
yes.
does. Everybody
Horsepower
needs-
is
Horsepower
They need
like-
their injectors clean too.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
You know, it's,
Yeah.
it's
It's a big ecosystem.
Well, they think they do.
right.
yeah, until they don't, and then
Yeah.
they do.
No,
until
Or they
don't,
get
and then they
YouTube and watch the guy on there with the WD-40 can and the straw. Did you see
That's
it?
what I do.
Oh Jesus! I was watching it the other night.
Exactly what I do.
Why would you sell your injectors on? Give me a can of spray.
That's what I
Rumble
have,
up,
that's what I
rumble
have
up.
people say, and I'm like, okay, yeah.
You're
I'll
good.
literally do that with my injectors until I can get them somewhere to have them taken care of. But like
Yeah.
when I take them out of my shit, it still has ethanol in them. Like they're still gonna be fucked if I don't spray something in there. But
Unless
I'm not
you-
I'm not
unless
trying
you-
to I'm not trying to just
unless
leave
you-
them on the shelf like
Even
that
if
and run
you
them
spray
again.
stuff in them, it's not going through.
Yeah, you have to power them up.
They
Yeah.
have a cycle, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this dude had the little battery.
Oh yeah,
and
he's
it
got the
goes-
little
Click him,
battery.
he's got his little straw and he's
Yeah.
blowing, yeah.
I had a guy who told me that once. He called me. It was, I think, injector for a 4-wheeler, so it was only one or whatever. He's like, I'm like, look, I'm out right now. My son has basketball. I'll be home by, we'll say 1 o'clock. He was like, all right. I'm like, I'll text you when I'm on my way back home. And you can meet me and, you know, whatever. He's like, all right. So we leave like 12:15, whatever. I'm like, I'm on my way. Meet me at my place by 1 o'clock. Nothing. It's almost 2 o'clock, so it's like 1:45, 1:50. I'm like, I have to leave so you can drop the stuff off in the mailbox and I'll get it done. I can't promise you I'll get it done today. He's like, but I'm on my way. I'm like, okay, but you were supposed to be here already. You never text me or called me. He was like, that's fine. You know what? I'm just gonna go to AutoZone and buy one of those clips and I'm gonna hook it up to. I said, you know what? Great. You do that.
Yeah, what are you gonna make off
Like,
one injector?
how
$20
bad?
bucks. Like
How bad?
I took enough time
Right.
for the $25 or $30 I'm gonna make
Right.
talking to you right now.
I can't charge you enough to make money, sir.
Right. I'm like, good luck. Or the best ones, I'm sure you guys get it. Oh, well, online I can get it for, okay, you know what? You need your injectors done? Send it to the guy.
Yep.
Whatever.
We give
And
them a
then-
good day.
Yeah, okay, no
Good
problem.
day,
Well,
sir.
we run
At
the-
first,
Did
when
you-
I
We run
first
the work
started,
together.
when I first started, I was like,
Good
you know, it was different
Good
when I
day.
first started. I'm like, you know what? Like, I'll take whatever.
Chased
Like-
every dollar.
Now I'm like, okay, yeah, you go ahead and do that.
My
But I
brother
need
told
it
me.
today. I said, well, your today price just went up.
Today, precious.
Your today price just went up because
Fair.
you need it today.
My brother tells me all the time, not every dollar's a good one, bub.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
True story.
Or you're pinching, you're pitching the pennies by dollar.
Well, how many times have we talked about firing customers?
I'm telling you, you fire the
Dude.
bottom third of your customers.
Life would be so much easier.
I think we fired at least 2 in the past couple months.
Sometimes you have to,
Some
man.
people are just unreasonable.
Fire friends, fire
Sometimes
customers.
just got something like,
Fuck 'em.
we're just not right for
Wives.
you. You gotta break up with them.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work out, it's not you, it's me.
James has seen me probably lose my patience.
do we?
Yeah, right. Jim.
Why are we
Rick-
firing Jimbo?
The one time, Rick.
I'm saying we didn't, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Did we fire LaRosa?
No, his
No,
Alright.
car is okay.
No,
I was gonna say his shit should still be in the
No,
shop. I don't
it's
think
still
it's.
there.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Never
It's
left,
just still in the shop.
It's a permanent. It's a permanent.
It's a
thing.
permanent
staple.
shop.
He's
staple.
like-
I think
he's
it's
like-
a fixture.
Is
He's
it shop
like,
car?
I'm like, alright, your car's all ready. Suspension's finally done. Everything's all good.
The fucking rear
I
end
want-
is here.
Let me
want bigger-
nuke this intake.
I want bigger turbos.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jim. Like I get it. Like, no, I want bigger turbos. What do you see? See what you can find at PRI.
You don't need bigger turbos. He needs to.
Do we have
He
a
needs to
roll
work
cage?
on the
Does
first
he
half
have
of
a
the
roll
track.
cage in this
I was
fucking
gonna
car
say,
yet?
he
Like,
needs
what
a-
are we
If we
doing?
can get, if we can get
The
the
car traps 192 miles an hour.
It
At
makes
he
1,000
wants bigger
pounds.
turbos.
2,300 horsepower. I need
No,
bigger
it's
turbos.
not
Fucking roll
fucking
cage.
I'm like,
AC. It's still got AC.
Yeah,
Yes,
AC,
fucking AC.
navigation.
Yeah.
I'll put. That is in Ohio at least. That is
We
the
need-
baddest street car.
I'll put
around
whatever
here.
money on it.
We need the
I'm
first
okay.
half of the
Okay.
track.
It's
If we
It's a
can
big tire
figure,
car, but it's gangster.
if we can figure out the first half of the
Real
track
shit.
with that car, that is the
You
baddest
you
car.
do know that car has been a 489 at 149 with a 138 60-foot time.
I will put money on
Yes,
that car against
yes,
any
I
car in
do
Ohio
because
on the
we
road.
took
Car
it. To,
60
me and
foot, it's like
Sergeant
a
took it to
600
Indy.
horsepower.
Yes.
Right.
We had to
The
push that
back half's
motherfucker.
That motherfucker, and when you guys took it, had a stock Dana 44 in it
I
with just
know.
axles and a diff. Like,
Yep, he was like, hopefully nothing breaks.
He's like, I don't want to break this rear end. I'm like, let's just fucking no prep this bitch. And
Yeah.
he's like, I don't want to break the rear end. I'm like, you ain't gonna break the rear end. You might fucking
Wall
spin
it
a
up.
tire or
Listen,
something.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't be taking advice from the guy who went through the traps backwards.
yeah.
Especially
Yeah,
in my $10 billion.
Well then he
plane.
shouldn't. Well then he shouldn't have put his car in my fucking
Yeah.
And
my
Jim will be one of the guests that we have because it's
Oh,
been,
dude, 100%.
I can tell you it's been a long story, but we go back to 12 or 14, 2012 or 2000, yeah, 2012 I went turbo. 2012. Yes.
That
Boy
thing
just
drove
showed
my
up out
bike
of nowhere.
back.
Dude, I was just
We
Brubaker.
were-
I'm like, what
no,
the fuck
I
is
remember
this?
that. I
we
remember
were
that
out.
shit.
We were out here in Parma. I think,
Right, and they're like,
somewhere.
some dude's got
And
a
we're
twin
like,
turbo
who the fuck is
Viper.
this guy
Yeah.
with the twin turbo Viper?
Yeah.
We're like, it was like, oh, I'm Jim. I'm like, Where the fuck did you come
Where'd you
from?
fucking come from, Jim?
Who are you?
And he was racing everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was
I
like
either-
back
it was
then
either-
there was like
it was
a
either
little.
Brewbakers or like Spaghetti Warehouse is the first
Yeah.
time I ever saw.
He drove down to
roads and shit.
Brewbakers to
Like,
race me on my bike.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're gonna drag the shit.
There was like a little order, like you had to like, and then there wasn't like I mean a 990 car was pretty serious, and that was in
Yeah, on the street back then. Yeah, for sure.
2012ish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not 12. 12, they got pretty. I mean,
Shit was
Like-
fast then. Yeah.
06, 7 is like when, like, back then when we were going to, like, Spaghetti Warehouse, when we were
Yeah.
down in,
Yeah, anything in the 9s was quick.
Anything in the 9s was
in
fast.
North
10s was
Olmsted
quick.
at,
Yeah,
whatever,
lot
like,
spot and
yeah,
then Fleet
back
Racing.
then, like,
The lot spot.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
that was,
Yes.
you know, like, we had like 300 cars going from Office Max to East 9
Like
on
2008
71.
was insane.
It was.
Yeah.
Like literally insane. We would go to the track on Friday and then street race every Saturday night in either an Akron, Cleveland. Like it would
was
be like
all night
we would
long.
close on East 55th in Cleveland,
Yeah.
downtown Cleveland, and
Yeah,
fucking
wow,
race.
fuck
And I
yeah.
remember that first time, like I was racing Catapult. Remember Catapult?
What was
Remember his
Catapult?
name? It was like all-wheel drive Colt.
Oh.
Yeah,
We would
Ray.
race at the
Was
track.
it Ray? No.
No, it wasn't Ray.
Oh.
That was,
He moved.
fuck.
Oh, Craig,
Yes, and he wrecked it
Crazy
that in
fucking
summer.
Craig.
Yeah.
When he
We would
wrecked
race
on
at the track, and I'd beat him at the track, and like I was going like 10:30s, you know. And then we would race at the street, and he would fucking wax my ass every single
Yep.
time for the dig on the street. But we were there, and he would helmet up and everything. And we like went for a dig. He beat me. My phone rings, and it's Bob. Me and Bob would go with me. My partner Bob. We'd go. We're just back from college. We live with our parents. You know what I mean? Like we would just go street racing out every Saturday night. I drop them off at 3 in the morning to rub my big cam, and I had a fogger nicer set up and all this shit. And we shut it down, and like Bob calls him like, yeah, I know I lost. He's like, dude, there's cops. I'm like, what do I do? He's like, just go. Just like, and all I remember is just, and like everything that fucking thing had.
All 370 horsepower.
No,
Screaming
it
at
went
the
1080s on motor, like it was 130 mile track. Like, it wasn't that slow.
Plus 200, plus 200 horse.
It was probably making some fucking ponies, but
Yeah.
it ain't 10,000 miles.
That was getting, but it was like everything it had. 7,800 RPM, rev limiter on the highway. I remember the route I
Spraying the
took.
crank out of it.
Oh, I wasn't spraying it though.
7,800.
Yeah, 7,800. That was my rev limiter on that
Jesus
thing. 7,800, and I remember the path I took. It was 490 to 176 to 480, and I got off at Brook Park
gangster
Road.
route.
I got off at Brook Park
Yeah.
Road and went to Best Buy. And I went there. I went there because I worked there at that time. I
You had
still
a
my
reason
Best
to be
Buy.
here.
I had still my Best Buy shirt on and everything. I got there, and Craig gets out. He takes off his helmet. He's like, "Wow, what was that all about?" I'm like, "There was cops." He's like, "Oh, there was?" I'm like, "Yeah, we just ran from the cops." I'm like shaking. I'm like, "I'm gonna go to jail." I'm like so
This
nervous.
dude's taking his fucking racing suit off.
Yeah, I'm like, he's like, "Oh."
Beside the car, holding his
Oh,
gloves
there
off.
was, and I'm like, oh my god, I just ran from the fucking cops. I'm like, what the fuck did I just do? Like, and like they weren't there. Like cops weren't there.
Yeah.
And then like we get back to the spot, and I'm like, oh. Bob's like, yeah, they like turned the lights on, turned them off, turned them on. Everyone ran. There's tire smoke everywhere, and then they just drove away.
That's how it was. When,
But for all intents and purposes,
And he's
I
like,
thought I was running from the
Rick's on the
cops.
highway
Yeah,
fighting for his life.
yeah.
He's
This
fighting for
motherfucker's
his
just
life.
pouring sweat driving.
I had push rods, broken springs after that. Like it was like.
were you
You
there?
guys ought to see what I did to my car running from the cops.
Oh my god! And I like, in my heart, thought I was running from the cops. But then I was just some dumbass going 140 or 150 miles an hour down fucking everywhere.
So what was that? 08?
Oh, 2008.
So where in Akron was you guys racing then? Out
Yeah,
224.
honestly, I don't even remember.
That was when we were racing on the strip. Remember that?
Canton Strip.
Yes.
Oh,
when Chris.
dude.
That was
That
when
was a
Chris.
spot.
That was when Chris was doing his thing.
Oh, with his
originally.
What about?
He had
were
the
you
little
there
red
when?
Jaguar.
End of 2008.
Yeah.
There was the Brute Breaker meet. The end of 2008. It was like October.
Yeah,
It was Akron versus Cleveland
Maybe.
versus
Yeah,
Columbus,
actually, I think
and that's
we
when
did
Craig
that
wrecked
by
the
then,
car.
yeah.
Yeah.
Were
We
you
would go
there
there,
when,
we'd go on
when
Tusk
Jamie
and
went to
shit,
race the AMC boys?
No.
Oh my god.
Wait, which one?
Oh, Jamie with the Lambo.
Oh, the fucking helicopter shot?
Oh, dude.
Bro,
Bro, I was on the
crazy
side
is
of the highway.
Batnorf still has
Son.
fucking videos of that shit on
the
his phone.
craziest
Dude, that
shit
shit
ever. We're
was
sitting in what was it? Menard? Is it Menards?
Menards, yeah.
Menards parking
Right
lot.
off of 21.
Over on
Jamie
30.
comes in
Yep,
this
yep.
$30 Harbor Freight trailer towing his Lambo. We're all like, what the? Like the thing is like
Lambo, right?
hanging off. Like this is the end of the trailer.
It's
and
a
the
utility
Lambo's, like,
trailer. It's got
hanging
sidewalls and
off.
shit on
Yeah,
it.
it's hanging off.
Like
by,
the
like, 2
Lambo's
feet,
hanging
like,
off
yeah.
the back of the fucking trailer. We're like, what the fuck? Because like, man, I had the worst fucking luck. I had a fucking flat tire on the Mercedes. Blah 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 blah. So, I think they raced one race, and all of a sudden, state trooper. We're like, and then another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and then we're like, what the fuck is going on? I swear to God, like half of Ohio state troopers passed by us. We're like,
Real shit.
and then all of a sudden we see a helicopter. We're like everybody was like,
oh fuck. We're going to fucking prison.
we just see
Get
it,
out of here.
literally flies over us, and then like how that field is over there, we're like, it lands. We're like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden you see guys coming off the fucking helicopter, like SWAT. We're like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
Like what the
For all
fuck?
intents and purposes, you thought they were there for you.
And then this
They must
young-
be filming.
this black cop comes, and he's like, "What's going on, guys?" Like nothing. He's like, "Oh, you guys are making YouTube videos?" Like, no. It's like I see the cameras on the Lambo and everything. He's like, "You guys making videos?" Like, no, no, we're just come from the track. He was like, okay.
Uh-huh.
He's like, well, you know what?
3:30 in the morning.
He goes, there's a hostage situation down that way. You guys, I don't remember what the highway is. He's like, if you guys go over there, you guys
They're
are
gonna leave you
perfectly
alone.
fine over there. There will be nobody because there's a hostage situation out there, and you guys can go race over there. We're like,
cool.
wait,
Did
what?
that just happen?
I'm like, did this really? And
That was
sure
when
enough, they
that
went
was
out
when
again.
your LT1 Camaro with 200 horsepower nitrous was badass.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, my
Well,
God,
I'll tell you
that
how old
was
I am. When we used to street race in Akron, it was
You tell
behind.
hop over a pop can.
It was behind Akron Square, which is long gone now, but
Yeah.
it was over by Kelly Avenue and the 224.
East side.
So we would stop the traffic getting on the entrance ramp, and we'd have a guy further back by Goodyear. So once you stopped them back there, you had 224 all the way past
Yeah.
the interchange,
Yeah.
all the way past 77 and 8.
Yeah.
And we would stop the cars at the entrance ramp. So one night we're all hanging out, we just fucking stop. We'd get right out on the road.
There's just people standing in the middle of the highway.
Yeah, stop
Oh, yeah,
it
yeah, absolutely.
for the race. And yeah, there's like 5 state troopers lined up on the ramp. We can't.
They're blocking for you.
No, they definitely were blocking.
They're on the
Dude.
payroll.
So we're up like this with our hands up, like, stop, motherfuckers. Here comes all the lights, all the spotlights coming in on us. We're like, oh, shit.
Whoops.
The race is already going down. They're getting on down here because these guys are done in the cars. And they walk up, yeah, what are you guys doing?
Nothing.
Really, we really don't even need to talk about it, right? You
Yeah.
know what we're doing.
Fifth.
Yeah, you got about 3 seconds to get over that fence and get the hell out of here.
That's how it used to be when we used
That's
to go
it.
to Spaghetti Warehouse. We would be up on the bridge,
59.
people racing down
Yep.
there, and like 3 o'clock in the morning, cop comes through. He's like,
Get the fuck
"All right, guys." We're like, "Okay, thank you.
Yep.
We're out of here.
Right.
No problem." And I mean, I remember I had my bike at the time. JP had his Colt. I don't know if you remember what's his name. They had the Sentra. Brian.
Oh, the white one?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
That
Right,
thing
Studer.
rolls.
Dude,
That
me,
thing rolls.
him, and JP, and I remember racing there, dude. Like, we would race all the way from there, or from here going down there, coming back. I mean, it was just.
Well, like, let's be honest though. When we were racing on 59 at Spag Warehouse, that was the safest street racing we did.
It was.
Because like
traffic on
yeah.
59.
minus
Talking
the
about
fact,
in Akron, right?
yeah,
Downtown?
minus
Yeah.
the fact that
Yeah,
there
still.
were cars
There's no
coming up
traffic.
on you. They would see you and stop.
Right.
There was nobody standing on the sides of the road.
No,
there
everybody
was
was up
there
on
was
the top.
nobody
No.
in front of you.
Exactly.
Everybody was on the bridge. Like
But
that
see,
was the
at that
safest
time-
street
and there's
racing.
no
we
Right,
did.
but at
traffic.
that time, everybody respected street racing,
Yes.
and
There
when they
wasn't
said,
TV shows
well,
glorifying.
right, they were
these
like,
bullshit.
"Hey,
They
we're
said the fuck
going.
away.
These 4 guys are going out,
Yeah.
and they're gonna make a hit.
Yeah.
Everybody else knows where to go."
You'll
Yep.
hear about it and
And not everybody's showing up,
And everybody's
trying to
not
watch.
Right.
and-
Now,
fucking
even
stand
even
it.
up
Oh, I
here,
want to go too. Blah, 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 blah.
when we used to go on 480, like I remember the one night, Josh and what's his name, Erickson,
Yeah.
We came to what used to be Steak and Shake over by Tiedemann,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna go out," and a bunch of bikes came in. I'm like, "Look, these guys are gonna go. Let them get a hit in,
Yeah.
and then if you guys want to do whatever after, more power to you. But let these
Let
guys
those
have a
two
lot
get
of
it
power.
done, right.
Don't get into their way or anything."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no problem, no problem. We got on the highway.
Nice
they
stool,
go
huh,
around,
Bill?
and these fucking
Where'd you get
these
it?
idiots out of nowhere just fly up as they're about to take off.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, there was like no respect whatsoever. Like
As
even
weird
back
as it
then,
sounds like
when
there was
we
like
were
street
at,
racing etiquette back in
when
the
we
day.
were back-
There is none now.
right when we were out
No
at Office Max, guys are going. Okay, these two guys are racing first. They'll go up front. Everybody else stays back
Yep.
and blocks the traffic. If you're doing a 40 roll or whatever, even digs. People did digs on fucking 71.
Well, that's
and
why.
we just dead stop. Make sure everybody stop.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody can come around and let these guys do their thing.
That's
I
how they
remember,
do in
remember
Baltimore.
when the guys from Columbus came up here? It was like
I remember
Columbus
that.
versus
There
Cleveland.
was that
There was that
turbo
orange-
BMW 5.0.
That dude was from up here.
No, he was from down in Columbus.
No, the black guy?
No,
Big
it's
black
that guy. Oh.
Oh no, there was a big
Yeah,
black.
it was a
remember the-
BMW. It was a BMW with a 5-liter in it, turbo, big turbo car.
Okay.
Years ago, way back. That
So
thing fucking rolled.
there was an orange. It's an orange Corvette, and then there was a bunch of other stuff. Whatever. I remember the one guy specifically. They brought bikes, and it was all kinds of stuff. We're getting on from Valley View, getting on the highway, and I think you broke down that night.
That was when I went to go race Jim, probably.
Yes.
And I, like, it was like the shot heard around the world. It broke the input shaft, and it's just,
Yeah.
it's like, boom! Like, everyone's like,
Because we were standing up at
Power back.
No, 904.
what
Oh,
was
yeah.
the restaurant up there? We were standing, so you could see everything.
it
and
was
you just
it was like an accumulation of like it was like Jim raced, I raced Vlad, Vlad raced Jim, and I was like, I gotta race this Duster. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't really know each other.
Right,
Well, like I used to always say, well, I gotta go home, and if someone just so happens to pull up next to me,
Right,
we just
yeah.
Yeah.
like, if it happens, it happens, you know, and it's like, and I'm like, oh, it's on, and it's downshifted, and boom, and it was like, it was so fucking loud.
Oh, yeah.
I know everybody heard that
Oh,
from
yeah.
fucking,
we were standing up on the hill, and we were just like, what the fuck
Valve
is happening?
springs out.
that was it, man.
Shit, sure.
That was it.
But like
Broke
even
the
like
fuck
those
out of
Columbus guys that came up here, the one guy he was like, I gotta show you guys something, and he had, I think it was a Trans Am, and he pulls the panels in the trunk off, and he's got 2 bottles on each side, and then he's got 2 bottles in the middle. And
Dude
it's
just came up here with 80 pounds of nitrous in
it
his
was
car.
like, this is
Ready to
he
fuck.
goes, well no, he goes, this is how we race down in Columbus. It was like, you know, we'll have like race people for money.
Yeah.
So they were like, hey, take off the nitrous.
Take your nitrous
I
out.
take
well,
the nitrous out. I have 2 more bottles of
Still
it
in the
here.
quarter
There,
panels,
no.
buddy.
It's like, this thing's not even connected. We're like, what the? It's like, dude, we had people pull guns on us saying we cheated. You know, because the car looked like it was bone stock.
Yeah.
And
So I got a question since we're all here. I got this great idea.
I love it
Here
already.
we go.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Interesting.
So I'm thinking about doing like an open house at the shop
Okay.
Yes.
with some products and maybe a little show and tell, a little what a torque converter actually is, what its job is, what it does.
A demo cut every hour.
Let
Every
Billy
hour.
chop. Bring your converter in. Billy will chop that motherfucker
right through the middle.
right in half.
Right in half the wrong way.
damn it.
Double my
He's cutting that
workload.
He's cutting that bitch hamburger, not hot dog.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So as far as having any meat left on the ones he cuts,
Yeah, she got.
it ain't happening.
Yeah. He's like, this is a profit for you later.
We're talking
R&D,
shit. I
R&D.
usually cut pretty good.
Yeah. No,
He's
it's
like, I gotta save myself.
Yeah.
So probably, obviously not any time in the next week or two, but
Right. Spring, summer, whatever.
yeah, in the spring we'll have our Bolt Together series well underway. And
Just say there's gonna be punch and pie, people will be there.
Speaking
Right.
of the
Well,
Bolt Together series,
hopefully
right
we'll have the turbo stator.
Yeah, I was gonna
and
say, right now you
pump
guys
and
are all
turbine
doing
together,
nitrous
but
and
nice
nitrous
for
and
that.
I'm hoping that
Yeah.
bitch is in my car.
yeah, and
Well,
the
we're gonna
next
test it first, but yeah.
So everybody knows the 9.5-inch Nissan body is the go-to converter for
Yeah.
turbos. Anything making big power.
power bar, yeah.
So right now we have the pump and turbine.
Mm-hmm.
The stator is the missing link. For me to tool up and make them stators is just not gonna keep that converter in the working man's budget.
Right.
So, another thing that we connected at PRI was with a couple companies that make their own stators, that have the equipment, that are willing to sell me stators.
Okay.
So, right now, the whole thing has to come together where I can put the pump turbine with the right billet lid and get the stators made. So everything, all the wheels are turning. COVID destroyed the whole program
Yeah.
for 2 years,
Yeah.
literally.
No.
Or we would have been way further ahead on this deal. The bolt-togethers that we currently have, it's called a Super 8, steel stator converter, really nice. Billy's tested some, Walker's tested, and several of your,
Motherfucker was rolling.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Really taking credit for it right now. But
yeah, we got him in
That
the,
week,
we got him in the one low teens, 60-foot,
Was that the
The Chevelle
Green
green,
Chevelle.
green
I'm not sure
Chevelle.
you know
Green
this
car
or not, but
42?
you know Bob's
Yeah.
car's got one of your converters.
that car's
in it.
gangster?
oh yeah.
The one
Super nice.
Beautiful
too.
Right,
car, too.
and we
Beautiful.
just redid Bob's.
Yeah, we
I
need
could never have
It's
some
all-
I
shit
typed
like
it
that.
up just to
Right,
we're
it's
gonna-
all
it's
fire.
on 460s. It's
That's
crazy.
Yeah, so Bob's converter is still working off of that same old GM platform.
Yeah, that's not a.
And
That's
for
your
that,
$1,000 converter.
yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
proud of that because
Yeah.
we done things with that converter that the big converter shops flat out laughed at me and said, "You ain't gonna hold power."
They gave up on it.
And then,
Yeah.
then he's out here doing drag week, street driving the car,
Yeah,
and
it's-
still
yeah.
making
Yeah.
fucking
Sick
retarded.
week.
Well,
Yeah,
I
just,
mean, that's the converter Sean had originally in
Yeah.
the Cadillac.
Yeah. That motherfucker's
You
heavy.
had it.
Mhm.
I mean that we sell, and I still sell the shit out of it.
That's our 1,200 horsepower. 1,200. We've had that converter in 7-second,
I believe
3,600
that's
pound cars.
still what's in my shit. Cause it's got a,
It's the bread and butter. It's honestly the bread and butter. Right?
It's not the
Yeah.
converter for a 1,600 or 1,700 wheel horsepower car,
no,
but
but
for
my
like
car's perfect for,
for like 1,200 or a really light car, like Bob's
Yeah.
car's really light.
Yeah.
I mean, we won a he left. It won a 1:11 60-foot time with him lifting before the 60 foot
Yeah.
was climbing the ring gear so bad. But
Yeah.
he won a 1:15 where he let off the trans brake button, completely let off the throttle, and got back in it. And
Yeah.
that's when it won a 482 at like 149.
Yeah.
Like he literally let off and got back in it.
That little converter, and for what we've been able to hold the price for all these years at,
Mm-hmm.
it is definitely budget friendly and it works.
That's the one I sent to the 1,000 to 1,200 wheel horsepower guys.
Right,
Like this
right.
is gonna work for you.
Yep.
It'll get on it'll build boost and it's gonna go.
And it works, but once we get past that, that converter quits coupling,
Yep.
and you want to blow through it. So the common phrase is, "Well, I keep adding power and it ain't going no faster."
And that means you got.
You're out of converter. Period.
And that's where data comes into play.
Right. So once we get to that point, and we all know that the next step is obviously got to be a more efficient setup, and that's why we're going to this. Most of them are going to have aluminum back halves. We're losing 8-9 pounds off the crank with
Yeah,
that.
I can't
Which is
wait.
Huge.
We're at 27 and a half pounds.
Yeah. 27 and a half pounds versus 30, 34,
I'll have to wait.
35.
I got to steel back bolt together. Mine like an old Rotor. It's
Yeah.
holding out.
Yeah. We've been through that thing three or four times for you. Changed.
Works good.
Yeah.
I just
Updated it, put a new diode in it, did this and that, but yeah, so that aluminum back half's a big thing.
Yeah.
Getting that weight off the crank, they react way faster. I don't know if you guys know Scott Williams, but he's got a big block 67 or 8 Chevelle. It's a clean car. He raced Renegade for years, 890.
Yeah.
And he sells our converters up in Michigan, and he saw we were messing with him. He said, "I need one, and I need it now because I'm going to NMCA and I grenaded my converter." He's like, "I can tell you everything about it if you think you can replicate it." I'm like, "What do you got?" And he told me, and we built him that thing. We did not change one thing about what his converter was because he had all the notes.
right.
So we had the exact same pump, turbine, and stator as he had. The only difference was the aluminum back. And every number down track picked up. Start to finish.
Yep.
And he
And we
had
actually got 60 foot out of it too.
everything, yes, 60 foot. And he actually had to slow up because he was red lighting. It was just reacting faster.
Jesus.
Everything was everything. And he sent me a message. He's like, I don't know how much you're selling this thing to me for, but please send me an invoice because I'm not sending it back. I'm keeping this.
That was the one that come out of my car.
Yeah, Billy was testing it.
Yeah.
And the dude calls, he's like, I'm in a jam. I said, Billy, can you get that converter out? It was still in the car.
Yeah.
And he sends me a picture like an hour later, it's in the drain bucket.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's when we waited for the UPS.
Yeah,
What's the sucker weigh?
27 pounds
27.
It's crazy.
with residual fluid in it.
Yeah.
There's so much voodoo in a torque converter.
And that's with a steel stator.
They're magic.
Yeah,
They really
that
are
was-
magic.
that was
Like
just
people are like, oh, I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you. I have like, I have a converter that you need. Okay,
Yeah.
don't worry about what's inside it because I really don't 100% know.
Well,
I just,
some-
I'm telling you, it's going to work.
some of the
Okay.
converter shops got this bright idea to start stamping on them,
Yeah.
like these numbers, and people started dissecting what the numbers were,
Mm-hmm.
and now everybody's an expert.
Yeah.
Right, except for those numbers aren't the same for everyone's.
They're not the same for everyone, and the other part of that is, okay, so what do you need then? If you know so much about what you got, tell me what you need.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
Right.
Or
So-
they'll call and say, I need a 1765.
The fucking.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put unique numbers on the customer's converter,
Yeah.
but we're not necessarily telling them what
You should.
what fin and what angle
What you,
and
yeah, what you
And
should do
numbers
is take
for
it a
you.
step further.
we just need
And this-
that number off of the product so we can see, okay, yes, this is what it is, because if
Right.
it's the third guy down the line,
Yeah.
we need to know what you got in order to change it for what you need.
You should
Right.
take it a step further and just stamp it with emojis.
There you go.
So we have been stamping "Let's Go Brandon" on everyone.
I'm
serious?
all
Oh,
in
yeah.
on that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it added 10 minutes to the job. We're getting like
Yeah,
a laser
dude.
stamp done.
But you know what though?
So just do one.
Every little bit of social disobedience is going to help.
Oh
I
yeah.
got the license plate on the front of my car.
Yeah, so we've been stamping that on them, and that's been a hit. Most everybody really enjoys that. We don't tell them it's there, and then they see it. It's like, oh, how cool!
Yes.
I can't believe it hasn't made it on social media.
That's the
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
shit. That's the crazy shit.
Yeah.
Is like in our industry.
Who's
I don't
gonna get
know
offended
anybody
by that
who's
we
gonna be
know?
offended by
Right.
it.
No.
And see, I'd be like, fuck yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the entire car community. Like,
Two, please.
you can be any
Can be
race,
seen
religion,
in it.
it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Like the whole car community is just like, fuck
Yes.
that guy.
Right. Yeah.
Not his people.
Well,
No, it's like Ken Kennedy.
he don't
So
count.
that's
He
not his
don't count
Whoa,
though.
whoa,
He don't
his
count though.
people.
His people.
Oh,
Hey, oh.
Hey,
This is where people are here illegally, you know.
We went there. Damn it.
I can say
I
that.
knew this shit was gonna get racist.
Is this
The
where
buzz is kicking.
As soon as he
I
walked in, I knew it. I was like, fuck.
Is
Who
this where-
brought the liquor?
is this where
It's
surgeon
over.
puts out that I'm technically not white?
Yeah.
Exactly, I'm not.
Hey,
Hold on, hey.
Technically, he's Middle Eastern, so it's fine.
I'm not even Middle Eastern.
Yeah, buddy.
You know the line was.
Hey, if
I
you
have
could
to-
speak, if you could speak more than 3 Arabic words,
Oh,
I can speak.
and I know he
speak
can
more than
because I've
No, I
seen him
can't
do
for
it.
sure.
Kiss
I've
me,
seen him do it.
Emek.
You don't
Kiss
count
him,
either.
man.
Yeah.
Yalla, habibi, yalla.
Yalla, yalla,
All
yalla,
you have to do is
yalla.
go. That's it. That's all.
I worked for him for 17 years. I know a few words.
Walla, bro. Walla,
Walla,
bro.
walla,
Walla, bro.
Yalla.
Yalla, yalla.
It's mine.
I'm shutting this fucking operation
Yeah, is
down.
there a way you want to end this?
This shit has gotten spicy
Clip
and I'm
in
ready
an
to go
ending
home.
here.
I gotta work.
That's what the people want.
Yeah,
They want the
yeah,
And we got,
spice.
and we got,
They don't want miles.
There's
They
gonna
want
be
hot.
enough.
You gotta give them what the people want.
Yeah, they want hot.
This
Not
sells,
miles.
bro. I mean, if you don't want to be here, go.
Yeah, they
You're
don't
just
want.
making
they
his
don't
job
want- they
harder.
don't- they
Taking
don't-
me out of my own podcast?
I don't know how this
happened right now.
Episode 1, season
Fuck.
1.
You're the weakest link. Goodbye. James gets kicked off. James gets voted out.
So, yeah, you're off the fucking island.
You're done.
So you know.
Sorry.
I always wanted to have a podcast show, so let's
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
You guys, you know
What do you hear?
guys can have.
Where do you see yourself in here? A podcast dude.
Fucking sitting here?
Doing podcasts.
Yes,
Like
we're
an
ending it.
outro?
End it. Shut it off.
Yeah, shut it off.
This is
Till
trash.
next time.
Till next
We've
time.
gotten way off the
Till next time.
Complete shit show.
We'll derail.